If pitching is baseball's great equalizer, then the Houston Astros have been more than equal to the task. And nobody has embodied the pitching or the promise of this young team like Jordan Lyles. For 6 straight starts, the Astros' 22-year-old prodigy has harnessed the command and maturity to take his talents to a near untouchable level. Tonight, those talents will be put to the test against another bright young star in Milwaukee's Gene Segura. Can Jordan Lyles equalize the Brewers and send the Astros to a 5th win in 6 tries? The answer comes next. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Comcast Sportsnet brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, it's a brand new series and interleague series, the first of 3 between the Astros and the Milwaukee Brewers. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby. Feels like old times. The Astros and Brewers spent years together in the NL Central. Now they meet as interleague foes. Ash?
Good old National League days, huh? But, yeah, now it's battling your way through the American League, and maybe right now what we're seeing with the Astros is a club that's getting better because of the better competition.
And also the pitching has really risen to a new level for the Astros. Month by month, you see, runs per game started out with an average in March and April of 4.1. It dropped to 2.9 so far in June, but the ERA has plummeted to 2.98. Certainly not a perfect world, but most managers, if given a choice, would rather have the falling ERA, Ash.
A big part of why that ERA and the pitching has gotten so much better is Jordan Lyles. Last 6 starts, Jordan Lyles 2-0 in that span, 167 the ERA. He's been absolutely dominant at times. The curveball in Seattle, unhittable, as he picked up a career-high 10 strikeouts. You can see it time and time again, and a nice job by Carlos Corporon on those breaking balls in the dirt. But Jordan Lyles has been a key component of this starting rotation.
A different outfield alignment will greet you tonight as Justin Maxwell has returned from his injury rehab assignment, and he takes his place in right field in the lineup alongside center fielder Brandon Barnes.
Brandon Barnes continues to do a fine job for the ball club. He got a chance, and he's taken it and run with it, if you will. And the running in good part out in the outfield. But with the bat, that's a key part of whether he will stay in the outfield in that batting order on a regular basis. He had a key drive to right field early in the season, home run. And he's been quite good overall. Couple of hits last night. Justin Maxwell now back with the ball club. He will be in right field tonight. And he's a guy that can make the defense in right and center really strong. That's a quality pair of guys out there. Of course, Maxwell, a couple of triples back on opening day. That was the victory on that opening day. And it's been a long ride since then. Justin Maxwell has had to push through the minor league rehab.
Coming up, Jason Castro will visit with Julia Morales in just a moment.
Park, the Astros opening a series with the Brewers tonight. The Astros winning 4 out of their last 5, and a big reason why is the bat of Jason Castro. Recently, skipper Bo Porter credited the Astros' move to the American League as to helping Jason Castro find his groove. His ability to DH has kept him fresh and healthy, and it's really helped him at the plate as well. In his last few games, he's been really hot, hitting 2 home runs off left-handed pitchers, something he used to struggle with, but really starting to build confidence against those southpaws. Hitting coach John Maley told me it's taken a lot of work, starting with his adjustments that he made to his swing back in spring training. Well, it's showing, and he's playing like an all-star, but not quite at the top of the voting. You can see the leaders right here in this graphic. Check it out. In the American League, these are the top vote getters as of now. Joe Mauer in front there, Wieters and Krasinski. No Castro up there in the top 3. Well, here's where Castro compares to some of the other catchers in the American League by the numbers. Pretty good, if I may say so myself. Castro and Santana, both with numbers that look alike. You see Mauer's there in front, but 10 home runs for both Santana and Castro. Not bad, Jason Castro. And you know what? I was talking to Astros 2012 All-Star Jose Altuve about this, and what has Castro done to deserve to be an All-Star? And he was like, everything. He absolutely needs to be an All-Star. He is very consistent. He is a team leader, and he's my favorite player. So Altuve, obviously very behind his catcher, and Castro very appreciative of that. Also want to mention it as Castro's birthday turns 26, and on his special day, we have Astros and Brewers facing off. Jordan Lyles taking the mound. The guys will have more in just a second.
To you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The lines are already set for this ball game tonight. It's game 1 of a 3-game series between the Astros and the Brewers at Minute Maid Park, and part of a 7-game homestand for the Astros, who won 3 of 4 from the Chicago White Sox. The Brewers are on a 3-city road trip, and so far in the 9 games, in the first 6, they're 3-3, and they are 8-7 in the month of June. Here's the starting lineup for skipper Ron Renneke of the Brewers. Norichika Aoki in right field leads it off. Gene Segura is at shortstop, and Carlos Gomez in center field. The DH is Aramis Ramirez, batting 4th, followed by Jonathan Lucroy, the catcher. Logan Schaefer in left field for the injured Ryan Braun. Yunieski Betancourt at third base. Juan Francisco at first base. Scooter Gennett is the second baseman and the number 9 hitter.
On the mound for the Astros tonight, right-hander Jordan Lyles, still 22 years of age, but he's pitching like a guy who has been around the block. 3-1 on the year, 3.48 the ERA over his last 6 starts. a 1.67 ERA. He's 2-0 in that span. He is dominating with multiple pitches, looking like a guy who's an ace of a staff. Defensively, behind Jordan Lyles. For the Astros tonight, Jason Castro does the catching around the infield right to left. Carlos Pena, Jose Altuve, Marwin Gonzalez, and Matt Dominguez in the outfield. It's Brandon Barnes in center, flanked by the newly arrived Justin Maxwell in right field and JD Martinez in left.
Lyles has used his curveball more effectively in recent starts. There's the former center fielder now playing right field tonight, Justin Maxwell. Of course, he's played all over the place in the past. So the curveball has been much more effective for Jordan.
Boy, that curveball last time out in Seattle, a dominant strikeout pitch. He could throw it at the knees or below, oftentimes in the dirt, getting swing after swing. And it looked like he could pick up a strikeout at will with that pitch.
Well, the Brewers have an excellent outfield trio, and their right fielder leads it off, Norichika Aoki. The Japanese-born player with a .297 average, 4 homers, 14 runs batted in. They call him Nori. 31 years old with a very good on-base average. And he takes the first pitch. It's strike one with Mike Everett, the home plate umpire, ringing it up for Jordan Lyles.
Like with Bud Norris, that fastball from Lyles at the knees time after time has set up so much of what he has done.
It's 1-1. Lyles is 1-3 in his career against Milwaukee with a 4.11 ERA in 6 games, 5 as a starter. In the dirt for ball 2, and Jordan Lyles shooting for win number 4 of the year against a familiar club in Milwaukee. So it's a different feel for a lot of these Astros players. They have a memory bank of games against the Brewers from previous National League days. What a start for him in a no decision against the Mariners. 10 strikeouts and 7 shutout innings. Slap to shortstop. Charged, and there's the throw from Marwin Gonzalez for out number 1. Well, that's one tough out with Aoki, somebody who's walked more often than he has struck out for the season. And Gene Segura has been a very tough out himself this year. What a tremendous trade Milwaukee made for Zach Greinke, sending Greinke to the Angels. Segura, one of those that they received in return. He has hit .330 with 10 homers, 30 runs batted in. A speedy player, good defensive player. Seems to be the whole package from what we're hearing. There's strike 1 to Segura. He's leading the National League in hits with 89.
If he wasn't a good defensive player with those offensive numbers, everybody would find a way to justify his existence on the team. I assure you that.
Well, he's 3rd in the league in steals. Signed as a free agent in '07 by the Angels. He's from the Dominican Republic. Hit .313 in 6 minor league seasons. So the Angels knew, based on what he had done in the minors, they were giving up a very talented player to get Greinke as a rent-a-player. And then they, of course, did not re-sign Greinke, who is now with the Dodgers. Looking like a terrible deal for the Angels. And he's hit by the pitch now and holding a left hand area. Segura will go to first base. And shaking the right hand, though. It may have been the right hand that got hit.
Curveball that just simply got away from Jordan Lyles. And either it took a nice bite out of Segura or he's a good actor. You can see that spin right over the top. Yeah, if you can have the presence of mind to act that one out, you've done something. I believe that curveball did get a good little bite out of him.
He's a threat to run with 19 stolen bases in 21 tries. And Milwaukee's 3rd in the National League in steals with 50 as a team. Carlos Pena talking with Segura, putting on that sliding glove. And now it's Carlos Gomez. Gomez also has put together a terrific year so far, hitting .317 with 12 homers, 37 runs batted in. Signed a multi-year contract with the Brewers for 3 years. And he has really responded with what is looking to be his best major league season. Segura takes off. Here's the throw from Castro, and Altuve's tag not in time. Stolen base number 20 for Gene Segura.
Number 1, a good jump. Number 2, the pitch location for Castro to throw on not an easy one at all. That pitch down, backhand side, right by the right foot. And you just simply have to stay down longer to handle that pitch. Good throw when it's all said and done, but too much from Segura.
That's a broken bat, it appears, on this pop-up. And Matt Dominguez reaches over, but doesn't have a long enough arm to make that grab. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Yao Ming would have had it.
There might have been an injury involved, however. Could have been career-ending as well.
It's been amazing for those who have watched Carlos Gomez, and he's 27 years old. He's been known down through the years as a speedy player, kind of a flashy guy, bit of a showboat, but this year he has put everything together. And who knows, maybe it's the security of the long-term contract, but his numbers have been eye-popping. He's third in the league in slugging percentage. Grounds it to third, backhanded. Dominguez throwing across, and there's the out with Segura taking third base. Pena with a good nifty bit of footwork there, crossing over into foul ground to take that throw for out number 2.
That footwork was so nifty and nice by Pena that I was not dead certain that Astros were going to get that call from Bruce Streckman. Watch what he does, and this is not an easy play at all for Matt Dominguez. That long throw takes Pena off the bag into foul territory, but he has the presence of mind to get that right foot right back on the bag.
That's almost a Texas two-step. He was quick with the feet on that one. And now it's Ramirez. Aramis has been limited in his time at third base. 281, 3 homers, 18 runs batted in. He's had a problem knee, injured the knee in spring training, and he has not been able to run very well. There's strike one. So DHing tonight, and he might do that at least one more time in this 3-game series. Aramis will turn 35 in another week. Miles gets a foul ball, and it snowballs 2 strikes from Ramirez, who last year hit 300 for Milwaukee, driving in 105 and belting 27 long balls and 42 career home runs against the Astros, ranking him behind Hank Aaron, Willie McCovey, and Willie Stargell, and tied with Albert Pujols and Sammy Sosa. Elite company among Astros opponents.
Been an impressive career, 345 career bombs.
He swings at one in the dirt, and he's tagged out by Castro. It's a scoreless first for Jordan Lyles, and the Astros come up against Figueroa in just a moment. Card begins with the center fielder Brandon Barnes. Jose Altuve's at second base with Jason Castro hitting third. It's his 26th birthday today. J.D. Martinez follows in left field with Chris Carter, the designated hitter. Carlos Pena's at first base. The right fielder is Justin Maxwell tonight with Matt Dominguez at third base and Marwin Gonzalez at shortstop.
On the mound for the Brewers, right-hander Alfredo Figueroa, 28 years of age. He's 1-0 this year, 3.47 the ERA. Left-hand hitter's having a tough time, hitting .238, and overall a .254 mark. The right-hander's getting the better of him. Just hit an inning allowed by Figueroa.
Brandon Barnes had a big night last night, showing Bud here, and there's strike one. .284 for Brandon. 3 homers, 16 runs batted in. He had 3 singles, stole 2 bases, and scored a run in last night's game. And second among American League rookies now with that .284 average. 2 of those singles went right back through the middle last night. He said, I never hit the ball up the middle. Fouled up the right field line and out of play for Aoki.
Are you implying that he was complaining about those 2 measly little singles?
He just seemed kind of perplexed by how that happened. But as you know, for guys with speed like Brandon Barnes, one of the things that are preached to them is hitting the ball up the middle. A ground ball up the middle, usually with a speedy guy, will result quite often in a base hit, depending on exactly where it goes and maybe how high the bounce is on it.
Well, that on-base percentage for Barnes at .338, just above the league average, a bit above.
Bounced in the dirt. Figueroa has been quite a pleasant surprise, and he's moved into the rotation now for 3 previous starts before tonight. He got this opportunity, A, because of injuries to other starters, and B, because he did so well as a long man in relief. He's 28 years old, from the Dominican. Ron Renicky picking this right-hander to take this assignment tonight. And there's a shot to left field, headed for the wall. On the run, Schaefer gets there, and he takes that one in for out number 1.
Defensively for the Brewers tonight, behind the dish, Jonathan Lucroy, a guy who has a shot at that National League All-Star squad. Around the infield, right to left, Juan Francisco. Scooter Gennett is at second base, just his 6th Major League start. Gene Segura at shortstop. He's been great. Unieski Betancourt, the veteran, at third. In the outfield, Carlos Gomez. He can go get it in center. Flanked by Nori Aoki. In right field and left field, it's Jordan Schaefer.
Jose Altuve has great career stats against Milwaukee. .359 batting average against the Brewers. Figueroa shoots it in there at 95, and it's strike 1 call to a .294 hitting Altuve with 3 homers, 27 runs batted in. And Figueroa with that 1-0 record, a 3.47 ERA, quite competitive. And the Marlins certainly saw all they wanted to see of him last time out when he went 7 shutout innings against them. And the Brewers won that game 10-1. He gave up just 3 hits, didn't walk anybody, and fanned 4, throwing 88 pitches. Bouncing that one, he goes to a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
Consistently yanking that curveball out on his glove side, backhand side for the catcher.
Great numbers for Figueroa. Dodgers were the first team to sign him in 2004. Then Detroit picked him up. Strike call, evens the count at 2-2. He went to Japan for a couple of years. That's where he was last year with Oryx. Milwaukee signed him as a free agent this January.
Last pitch, good looking fastball, 96.
Grounded to second, over in front of a Gennett, and on to first for out number 2 for Figueroa.
One thing that happens with pitchers when they go from bullpen to that starting role, they'll likely alter the sequence of pitches. The fastball has dropped off now a bit in terms of the percentage since being in the bullpen, but that's quite logical. As you're in for inning after inning, you don't want the hitters to be able to sit on that dialed up speed on the fastball. You start mixing a little more with the changeup and the slider, and so he's kind of an altered pitcher now as one of the starters for the Brewers.
Jason Castro's on a 4-game hitting streak. The birthday boy stepping up at .274. He looks at that one for ball 1. Jason has 10 homers, 25 runs batted in, and 20 doubles. So his slugging percentage has zoomed upward with that power display for Jason Castro. .496 slugging percentage. Bounces this one. There's the stab by Francisco. Tossing back to the pitcher Figueroa for a 1-2-3 first and a scoreless game after one. A 3-game series. Game 2 will come tomorrow night. Also a 7:10 start for that one. 6:30 for Astros pregame live. Eric Bedard and Kyle Loesch will do the twirling tomorrow night. And then it's a 1:10 finale of this series Thursday afternoon for Lucas Harrell and Giovanni Gallardo. 12:30 Astros pregame live there. Fans are settling in. And it could be one of those well-pitched ball games if you base it on what we're seeing in the first inning. Both pitchers coming out, throwing well. Jordan Lyles survived the hit batsman to Segura. That was on an 0-2 pitch, but both looked to be pretty efficient in that first inning.
Good arms. And you look at Figueroa, very good looking fastball up to 96 miles an hour. Jordan Lyles generally in that 92 to 94 range, but spotting it so well at the knees. And the other pitches that we've talked about, the curveball in particular, becoming quite dominant for Jordan.
Jonathan Lucroy at 276 with 6 homers, has driven in 37. Veteran catcher who is 27 years old from Eustis, Florida, went to Louisiana Lafayette. There's strike one to Lucroy. He's really taken over behind the plate. Last year he lost time with a broken right hand. Brought a 279 career major league average into this season. A homegrown guy, drafted in the 3rd round in 07 by the Brewers. No balls, 2 strikes.
2 very well placed fastballs by Jordan Lyles.
Yes. Lucroy taps that one. Lyles over with the toss to Pena. 1 easy out for Jordan here in the second.
Log on to csnhouston.com and click on In-Game Live to enhance your Astros experience via computer, smartphone, or tablet. Get in-depth stats and join the social buzz. In-Game Live only on csnhouston.com.
Now Logan Schaefer, the 26-year-old outfielder who had 23 at-bats with Milwaukee last season. 258 for Logan, no homers, 7 runs batted in, good outfield coverage. That's inside and it's ball 1. Schaefer's from San Jose, California, went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Bud Norris and he had that in common. Schaefer, a 3rd round pick of Milwaukee in 08. It's a 2-ball no strike count, and Jordan Lyles has missed a couple of times inside on this left-handed batter. The Brewers got off to a good start as far as the month of April was concerned. They were 14-11, right in the thick of things, but they had a horrid month of May, going 6-22. Their pitching really cratered, but they've gotten good pitching lately. They're making something of a resurgence in June at 8-7. Up the right field line, but foul. 2 balls and a strike. Brian McTaggart tonight, Ash, is reporting at Astros.com that Scott Boras is in town to talk with Jeff Luhnow about a contract for Mark Appel. Apparently they have a meeting scheduled for later tonight. So B-Tags is on the case as always.
Way to go, Tags. And well, Boras should be in town. Now, I think it's obvious Mark Appel wants to get this done. The Astros want to get it done and move on with that #1 pick of the draft. That is 2 years in a row and should bode very well for the club.
Wow, he swung out from under his helmet. That's a changeup. 2-2.
You think this fooled a hitter?
Oh.
See if I can just wait long enough. Come on, get here, ball. Yeah. That's kind of what it feels like, too. You start swinging and you know the ball's not coming.
That's poked out toward left center field. Barnes moving quickly in that direction for out number 2. That's got to be one of those things that makes a pitcher feel pretty doggone good when a hitter takes a swing like that.
Well, it's great positive feedback when you can see your changeup has that sort of impact. It's really the one pitch other than a great fastball that generally can give you that kind of feedback. Now, I would say last time out for Jordan Lyles, his curveball was that type of pitch.
Wasn't it, though? Yeah, terrific. Yuniesky Betancourt is the batter now. He's played first, third, and 1 game at second. 215, 8 homers, 31 runs batted in. And the Cuban-born player takes ball 1 high. Well, the Brewers have had to mix and match. They have had a lot of injuries this season. Betancourt used to be a shortstop. It's a 1 ball, 1 strike count. He does not walk very much. Free swinger. He was signed by Seattle in 05, traded to Kansas City in the 09 season, joined Milwaukee for the 2011 year. It's 1-2. Jordan Lyles is just into a groove, isn't he?
He found it somewhere along the line. And you have to believe that Doug Brocail has played a big part in what this starting group of pitchers has been throwing together. But as Jordan Lyles found it, boy, he has just gotten better and better. And that's not a given. You hear that phrase a lot of times. But I flinch at hearing it because there's no guarantee you're just going to get better. But he has, over the last 6 starts, been so good.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Dallas Keuchel was around the batting cage today. Pitchers getting ready for that National League Series in Chicago when they will be batting.
There's the last 6 starts, 2-0 in that span. Certainly could be better than that 1.67 ERA. I don't know if you can do much better than that.
That would be difficult, wouldn't it?
Bob Gibson once upon a time maybe bettered that, but about that 1.12 ERA year that Gibson put up. I don't know if Bob Gibson had this curveball. Watch this thing. It just bites straight downward. And hitter after hitter finding it tough to lay off. That, not the curveball. That one is. That's a good hammer.
Just off the plate, and Betancourt really, either he got lucky or he really knew that that was going to be outside.
You can really beg hard and get it sometimes too. Oh, please.
That was close. 2 strikes. That's a leap to take that one. Now a ground ball to shortstop. Marwin Gonzalez handles out number 3, and through 1.5 there's no score.
For AT&T tweet of the game is from JD Martinez. He says wants to thank Good Company for this amazing pecan pie. The guys are going to love it. It does look absolutely amazing. Everybody knows I like food. I didn't get a piece of this, so I'm a little jealous. But talking to JD, past couple of days have been rough for him, not hitting the way he wants to. He was changing things up as far as details goes in his daily schedule, trying to get something going. He hopes to get it started tonight, guys.
Maybe that pie will do it for him. JD shoots one into left field. Let's have some pie. JD Martinez.
Pie for everybody.
Oh, yes. You like pecan pie, Julia?
I have never tried Good Company pie. I know they're known for their barbecue, but I hear great things about their pie, and I love pie. But what don't I love?
You love a nice single between third and short. Well, that worked out. Now he's aboard for Chris Carter, the DH, with a .215 average, 14 homers, 36 runs batted in for Chris. Leads the club in long balls. And it's been a while, 5 years since an Astro had 14 homers through June 15th. Lance Berkman and Carlos Lee had 14 or more, June 15th of '08. Not a good swing by Chris, and there's strike one for Alfredo Figueroa. Chris has hit so much better on the road than here at Minute Maid Park. It's rather puzzling. Carlos Pena's on deck. Right side of the infield, pretty well wide open for him. It's in for a strike, and it's 0-2. The Astros were 15 games back of first place back on the 15th of May. Right now they're 15.5 games out. So in more than a month they've only lost 1/2 game on first place in the AL West. Of course, the Rangers have fallen off a little bit, but Oakland has come on. That's top to third. Betancourt with the throw, and he throws it away. And that ball is out of play. Martinez going to third base, and Carter will be waved to second on the overthrow by Betancourt. Francisco unable to corral that wide one.
These Brewers are 8-7 in June, but coming off a May that left them at 6-22, and this might be a glimpse of what was going on with this club back in that month of May. That's trying to make the play on the run. Looked like he took enough time to make a good throw.
Yeah.
He simply threw it away.
Yeah, he got his legs underneath him after bending down to pick up that ball. So fifth error of the year for Betancourt. Runners at second and third now. The infield stays back. In fact, the shift is on with Pena the batter. So Scooter Jeanette's in right field on this. And Pena at .221 with 6 homers has 18 runs batted in. Francisco pretty deep at first, so Betancourt would be the only infielder who would have a logical play at the plate if the ball's hit on the ground here, as you see, without alignment. And it's true, Pena doesn't hit too many in that direction. He does hit a line drive to right. Coming in, Aoki with the catch. Here's the tag, and the throw comes in on line, just a little bit up the third base line. A hard hit out, number one. Well, Pena put a good swing on it, but Aoki charged and kept Martinez at third and Carter at second.
Line drive to the outfield, one of the tough plays if you're the runner at third base. And coming on, Aoki made it all the tougher. Not only for JD Martinez, that lead runner, but for Dave Tremblay down at third base. That's a tough send, especially as out number one of the inning was just made.
Now the return of Justin Maxwell, and he's right into a pressure cooker RBI situation here. Picking up those numbers from .234, 1 homer, 6 runs batted in. That was good through the 24th of April when he went out with a fractured left hand, hit by a pitch by Hisashi Iwakuma of Seattle. And now for the first time he's back in a major league game since then with strike one. They missed 51 games for the Astros while he was out. He's played 11 games on a rehab assignment in the minors, 5 of those at Oklahoma City and 6 at AA Corpus Christi. He had 5 hits and 39 at bats with a homer and drove in 5. Fastball off the plate makes it 1-1.
I've seen it go both ways with guys who have really hot spurts while they're down rehabbing in the minor leagues, and other guys who just can't pick up a knock while they're down on that rehab. So I'm not sure that I read too much into a guy doing well or not doing well.
The main thing is how that broken bone is healed in his left hand. Cut off, and the throw goes to third, and it's high, and it's safe at third. Now the bases are loaded. Well, Figueroa was cat-like in getting to it on the backhand side, but his throw to Betancourt was high, and J.D. Martinez was able to slide back into third while Maxwell reached first.
Boy, when you're going bad, and the Brewers have certainly had a long stretch of going bad, you can make what looks like it's going to be an outstanding play, and that's what that is to that point. But then the high throw kills the really good play. And the Astros have been picking up wins, and a break like this can be at the heart and center of picking up another one.
Now the bases are loaded for Matt Dominguez.
Well, that's a tough spot to be in if you're J.D. Martinez. You're informed while you're at third base. Get a good jump on the ground ball that gets past the mound. Well, you couldn't tell if that one was going to get by the mound.
Nope. Figueroa really moved off the mound quickly. Dominguez with 35 runs batted in has 3 ducks on the pond here. Not chasing the breaking pitch in the dirt. Ball 1 to Matt with a .230 batting average. He drove in 3 in the White Sox series, going 4 for 14. And all those 3 came in a bases loaded at bat in the second inning Sunday when he ripped a double into the left field corner. He's 4 for 8 with the bases loaded, 8 runs batted in these situations. In the air, out to left center field, and the runners are tagging as the ball goes to Gomez in center. Here's J.D. Martinez coming in. The throw is wide, and it's 1-0 on a sac fly by Dominguez, giving him 36 runs batted in. That ties him with Chris Carter.
Nice job by Matt to pick up that first run. Good base running, alert base running by Maxwell at first base, because he was watching Chris Carter. Carter tagged up. He was going to move to third and took a pretty good move in that direction, and Maxwell was following suit. But as Carter shut it down quickly and alertly, Maxwell had to get back to the bag. Nice job. Sometimes picking up those ribbies just means you make good contact.
Well, he certainly did that, and he sent it deep enough so that there was no question about Martinez scoring.
Look at Carter from second base. That looks like he's going. And Maxwell was following him step by step. Read it very well.
Marwin Gonzalez has 2 outs and 2 on now. That's ball 1. And Marwin with making strike 1. Marwin has 12 runs batted in with 4 homers, a .238 batting average. With the 4 left-handed starters in the previous series by the White Sox, Ronnie Cedeno started 3 of those games. Marwin a switch hitter, but Ronnie usually plays against lefties because he's hit so well against southpaws. .43 starts at shortstop for Marwin Gonzalez. The Astros have had a dominant record here at Minute Maid Park against Milwaukee, 62-39. That's a shot foul. It's 0-2 to Marwin.
Marwin apparently saw a hanger up in the eyes that he liked. That's a pitch that not many guys will hack at.
True.
Maybe if it's a fastball, not the curveball.
Milwaukee had 6 consecutive quality starts through the first 2 games of the Cincinnati series. It's a jam shot foul, and Ron Renicky has said that pitching definitely is the biggest reason for the Brewers' resurgence here in recent weeks. In fact, in the previous 8 starts, their starters have combined for an ERA of 1.79. But for the season, they have a 5.17 starters ERA. Brandon Barnes on deck. In the dirt, good stop there by Lucroy. That was close to textbook, wasn't it, Ash?
Yeah, and Carlos Corporon is a guy that has done it right on textbook here of late. And we were looking at a lot of the work from Jordan Lyles in that recent start in Seattle. Curveballs in the dirt, and time after time Corporon dropping that glove down, filling the 5-hole, just letting the body do the work and not trying to catch it. It's what you want to see.
In the air by Marwin, and it's back behind the dish. Lucroy watches it sail into the seats. The Astros will be in Chicago at Wrigley Field over the weekend, but hoping to improve this home record before they make their leave. They're 13-24 here at Minute Maid Park this season. That outstanding career record against the Brewers, a chance to further what Bo Porter's club has started with the excellent pitching in that White Sox series, winning 3 out of 4. The Astros are 8-8 in June despite a .207 team batting average. Fouled away.
Yeah, I think if you were just looking at stats, hadn't watched the team play, you'd say, how'd they do that?
Yep.
Especially after seeing the early part of the season, but that starting staff has been that good.
John Maley hoping that tonight is a breakout game for his hitters. They really struggled last night with men in scoring position, 1 for 12. Losing 4-2. They left 9 men on base last night. This one doesn't get away very far from Lucroy, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. The real killer last night for the Astros was that after the White Sox got 4 in the 6th inning, the Astros trailing 4-2 in the 7th, had runners at first and third, nobody out, and then had 3 straight strikeouts. So in the series, they went 4 for 27 with men in scoring position.
And the Astros in the near future on the schedule have the Cardinals coming up, Tampa Bay, Texas, back to the Cardinals in Tampa Bay. So there are some tough games coming up against teams that can score some runs, and you need this offense to get going.
That Cardinal club has been dynamic offensively.
They are amazing on both sides.
Yeah, they pitch well too. You're right. Yeah, they have been definitely the class of the National League to this point, and that's why the Brewers find themselves 16 games in arrear of the Redbirds. They're tied for 4th with the Cubs currently at 28-40. That's out to center field, and coming in for it, Gomez, but the shortstop goes out. Segura with the catch. It's 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 men left. We go to the 3rd inning. JD got this one started and scored the first run to make it 1-0 Houston.
The Astros continue their series against the Brewers tomorrow and Thursday. Come see Altuve, Castro, and the rest of your Astros face off against the Brew Crew. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com to get your tickets now, guys.
All right, Julia, we look forward to all those upcoming games. Ash pointed out the competition gets tough in the coming days. So the Astros would like to keep rolling on through this series and then the Chicago Cubs series on the road before welcoming those difficult opponents on the next homestand. Foul back. They strike one to Juan Francisco. Francisco at 210 with 6 homers. Has driven in 21. Acquired June 9th from the Atlanta Braves, where he was platooning at third base for a time with Chris Johnson. Francisco also formerly with the Reds. He takes that one high, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Juan. He's appeared in 11 games with the Brewers. Started 8 times at first before tonight and once at third. That one goes to center field, backing up Barnes. Barnes way back. That one will bounce and go off the flagpole. Now kicks over to the right for Barnes. And here's Francisco heading for third. He will make it without a throw with a leadoff triple. First hit for Milwaukee. Right off the base of that flagpole, the padded area.
The 3-bagger has been a big part of what we've been seeing here on this homestand. Unfortunately for the opposition hitters, just drives that Brandon Barnes can't get back to.
Brandon has spent a fair amount of time on that hill in recent days. First triple for Juan Francisco. Now, other than first and third baseman, the Astros lay back for Scooter Gennett. And the rookie takes in tight for ball 1. Scooter just turned 23 in early May. He's from Cincinnati. And he just hit his first major league homer in Cincinnati earlier on this trip. He was a 16th round draft choice in 09. His father, Joe, was an associate scout for the Astros when Dan O'Brien was the scouting director many years ago. Scooter played at AA Huntsville last year, hitting .293 with 44 runs batted in. Slap to shortstop, the runner coming to the plate. Marwin Gonzalez with the throw, safe at first, and it's a 1-1 game. And Gennett beat the throw for an infield hit. He got RBI number 5 on that.
Momentary hesitation by Marwin Gonzalez trying to get the baseball into that right hand, and that cost him. This is good speed going down the line.
It's ruled an RBI single despite that momentary hesitation.
Here you see him scooting down the line. I don't know if you're sniffing a hit at the early part of that one, but when it's all said and done, if you can get that just little bit of a bobble, beat it out with that kind of speed.
He ran hard, and he draws a throw. Pretty close play there. He had a pretty decent sized lead. He has not attempted a steal with the Brewers this year. Last year he was 11 for 16 in the minors in base stealing. Aoki grounded to shortstop, leading off the game. Well, the Brewers have tied it now with a triple and an infield single by Gennett. Lyles is working on the base runner, Scooter Gennett. Meanwhile, Ricky Weeks is on the bench tonight, and he's been on the bench quite a bit this year for Milwaukee. Weeks has started 54 games, but lately Gennett has been getting his assignments at second base, while Weeks, it seems, spending more time on the Pines, hitting .212. Rolled out to second, charged, and Altuve missed the tag and got the out at first. He tried as he ran in to tag Gennett, but Gennett was able to elude that tag attempt and get to second on out number 1.
A lot of speed going on right on that play for Altuve to deal with. And I thought he came at this perfectly. Try to see if you can get that tag play and complete the double play. Let's see if the base runner stays within the baseline, and it appears he does.
Sure did.
But there's that moment where you know if you're Altuve, you've got to get rid of the baseball, and there it is.
And that was close enough to sort of go downward. He would have been able to slide into second to avoid that tag. Now Segura's the batter. He was hit by the 0-2 pitch first time up. Bouncer third. Dominguez off his glove, and now a throw back to second. That's not caught. And it's runners at first and second now for the Brewers as the Astros, off the glove of Dominguez, are unable to make a play to get an out. Marwin Gonzalez recovered and thought he might have an out at second base there, but Altuve was unable to catch his throw.
From those innings setting up here where things are not going right for the club. Not an easy play by any stretch of the imagination, but a play you'd like to make. Marwin very heads up and trying to get that backside out there.
That's ruled a hit. Now runners at first and second, one out. And it's Gomez batting. Gomez grounded to third earlier.
Well, the Astros pitchers here the last couple of nights have not been treated with kid gloves in terms of plays that could be called errors.
No. In the dirt, that's a ball to Gomez. Gomez is a dynamic player. He makes some catches in center field, runs the bases extremely well, and in the past has bunted quite often. From what we're hearing, the bunt has not completely disappeared from his game, but he's hitting for power, but choosing rather to swing away a lot more often than bunt these days. Line shot to left field. That's a hit. Picked up on the short hop. J.D. Martinez fires it in, and the bases are loaded on a sharply hit single by Gomez. That's 4 hits in the inning, although 2 of the infield variety.
Well, this ball hit sharply, and J.D. Martinez makes an initial judgment that he's going to come on as hard as he can. Line drive just hung out, but here comes J.D. and picks it. Fortunately, if this ball gets by, a lot of problems to follow. Yeah, that's just full commitment as the play begins.
Well, it looked to be a little bit dicey, but J.D. came up with it cleanly, and now it's Ramirez batting.
We've got our pitch by pitch brought to you by Steel Dealers, and this on Aramis Ramirez, cleanup man for the Brewers. Back his first at bat. Fastball right on the outside edge, puts it right back out there for the foul ball, and then strikes him out on a slider that starts in that same location. Great job by Lyles.
Foul ball by Ramirez. There's strike one to Aramis. .351 with 10 grand slams in bases loaded situations. Brewers signed him to a 3-year deal prior to last year. He had some very good years for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Chicago Cubs prior to arriving in Milwaukee.
Yeah, the Brewers are one of those teams that felt they had a club that could contend this year. It's not beginning the year that way.
Three speedy runners aboard for the Brewers. That's a foul ball for a 1-2 count. The Brewers are 4th in total bases in the National League. That triple by Francisco to open this inning was their 30th triple. They lead the National League. So they have speed in terms of stealing bases and also stretching some of those hits. Jonathan Lucroy is on deck. Ramirez fouls it away. Ramirez was born in the Dominican Republic. When he came to the Cubs in a trade at 03, that set up Chicago for a good run of power hitting seasons by this third baseman. He hit 36 bombs for the Cubs in 04, and that set a club record in the long and illustrious career of the Cubbies by a third baseman. Brewers last year were 83 and 79. He struck out. Big pitch there for Lyles with the bases loaded for out number 2.
Pretty close to the same kind of setup there on Ramirez that we saw with the strikeout back in the first inning. Polishing him off with that slider in the dirt, and complete inability to hold the barrel back.
Could be a very big out in this game with the score tied at 1-1 with Lucroy coming up next. He grounded back to Lyles earlier.
A lot of times it's about minimizing damage, and now Lyles has a chance to do that here in the third.
Lucroy 3 for 5 with the bases loaded this year. He takes a strike. Jordan has that confidence in the off-speed pitches. He's working to a man who hit .320 last year for Milwaukee. It's 0-2 for Jordan Lyles.
It's an effective combination, that leadoff curveball that looks like a high fastball, and then after you drop that curveball in for the called strike, you start that fastball right in that same slot and get the swing.
Lucroy is third in the majors in runs batted in among catchers, trailing only Yadier Molina and Buster Posey. He reaches for it, taps it, but it's foul. Well, Jimmy Paredes was optioned after the game last night back to AAA Oklahoma City to make room for Justin Maxwell on the roster tonight. Trevor Crow's been playing quite a bit in right field the last week or 10 days, and he is on the bench tonight as J-Max returns to the lineup.
Gives the team a lot of speed and defensive capability in right and center.
Barnes is shading to right center now. And it's a foul ball the other way. Brewers had a day off yesterday. They were here in Houston, which meant that a lot of the local golf courses should have picked up financially.
Business must have been pretty darn good yesterday.
Restaurant business was probably booming. The story today was that Ryan Braun may have left this ballpark to go get a second opinion on his injured thumb.
He's been bothered much of the season with that thumb, and limited him to becoming kind of a.
They have really been racked by the injuries. They have several players on the 60-day disabled list. Matt Gamble, torn ACL in his right knee. Mark Rogers, a pitcher, shoulder. Corey Hart, one of the mainstays down through the years, 60-day DL, torn meniscus in his right knee. Now he's having problems with the area above the knee, the quadricep muscle. Chris Narveson, a lefty pitcher, on the DL, and so on down the line. Bounce to third. Dominguez backs up to get the hop. Throws to second, just barely in time to beat the hustling Gomez and end the Brewer third with 1 run scoring on 4 hits. 3 men left. It's a 1-1 game.
The Geico quote of the day is skipper Bo Porter saying, "I'm going to say that Justin will start. I'm not going to say it will be at center field." Brandon Barnes has done a great job there. That was Porter before the team activated Justin Maxwell from the DL. He's starting tonight, not center field, but right field. Barnes started playing center like it was his job to lose, and the Astros begin to move Maxwell around during his rehab stint. It's a good problem to have, though, for Bo Porter having two good center fielders. Maxwell said before the game he's extremely happy for his good friend Barnes. He's played all three outfield positions. He's just happy to be back and help the club in any way he can. Guys,
that was a long road back for J-Max. Well, he's got to be anxious to stay in that lineup for a while now, certainly, but there are a lot of ways that injuries can crop up in this sport. Brandon Barnes leads it off in the home third inning. Hit a fly ball to left in the first. That's upstairs from Figueroa. Figueroa had to wait a while to come out here for the last of the third. His club sent 7 men to the plate in the top of the inning. It's 1-1 as we take a look at Brandon Barnes.
Some of the success Brandon has had here of late in the last 6 games, 7 hits that you can see. And one thing Brandon does very well is hit the ball the other way, and oftentimes with good pop in that direction. I think, quite frankly, that's a great thing to have on your resume. But at the same time, we've seen some tremendous power to left field, and you'd like to see a little bit more of that.
That's on the edge for a strike. That evens the count at 2-2 for Figueroa. Barnes has a .338 on base average coming into this game tonight. .411 slugging. 3 homers, 9 doubles. It's 3-2.
97 on that well-placed heater.
Brandon's had 142 at-bats this season.
I think that's safe to say, far more than might have been anticipated coming out of the spring.
Yeah. Up, and it's ball 4 as he checks his swing. That's his 11th walk.
The Astros take on Albert Pujols, Mike Trout, and the LA Angels of Anaheim. That's coming up Saturday, June 29th at 3:10 p.m. Be sure to get to Minute Maid Park early, as 10,000 fans will receive a white home replica jersey. That's courtesy of Champion Energy Services. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS to get your tickets now.
Jose Altuve grounded to second in the first inning. Third baseman Betancourt in tight. Double play depth for Segura and Scooter Gennett. Barnes draws the throw and he flops back in at first. He's been aggressively pursuing steals in recent days. He has 6 steals in 11 tries. The Astros tied a single game high last night by stealing 4 bases against the White Sox.
Well, that's close, and with a left-handed first baseman, you might find yourself called out. True.
Altuve looks at a strike. Figueroa drawing so much attention for his bullpen work. He would stay in games for 3 innings sometimes, maybe even more than 3. Sounds a little bit like the Astros situation earlier this year with pitchers such as Dallas Keuchel. They opened their manager's eyes with relief work, and that led to a spot in the starting rotation. Foul back.
Just like with injuries, where they present opportunities, you can look at the Maxwell injury, and it presented an opportunity for Barnes in center. I think just about every rotation, certainly at one time or another over the course of the year, is going to have a need. And if a guy's pitching well in the bullpen, he'll be the guy looked upon likely to fill that need.
Giovanni Gallardo was the opening day starter for Milwaukee again this year. Pitch is outside. It's 1-2. Kyle Loesch has joined this club as a free agent. He signed late in spring training.
Got to keep the kids off the field.
This is turning into a comic show. A little comic relief.
Do keep it nice and tidy out there, though.
Walked out in front of the dish by Lucroy. That makes it a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Sometimes you have to, as a catcher, cheat a bit and come up. This breaking ball that bounces well out in front of Lucroy necessitates that move. Cheat, come up with that left arm, left shoulder, and well, he got the job done beautifully. Didn't try to catch the baseball, though. And when it's all said and done, you know you did a good job, but man, that hurt.
Yeah. Doing a good job as a catcher can lead to some pain, no doubt about that. Bounce to the hole at short, backhanded. Segura throwing back across his body for a very impressive force play on Barnes for out number 1. That's a difficult play.
Altuve's not going to get thrown out on this play. And so the only out really is at second base. Certainly no double play possibility. And that's where, as a hitter, you're just hoping that that lead runner has a great jump and is able to beat the wrap.
Now Altuve trades places with Barnes. He's aboard for Castro. Castro bounced out. First baseman to pitcher covering. Well, Jason just set a really good pace here in the first half of the season offensively. That would put him up there for possible franchise records by a catcher in homers. That mark was set by John Bateman with 17 long balls way back in 1966. Strike 1 to Castro. He already has delivered 10 home runs. And you know, people talk about home runs all the time as the indicator of power. Well, doubles could be an indicator of power.
Certainly can. You combine 20 doubles with 10 dingers at this stage of things, and you've really got something. That slugging percentage almost at 500 for Jason, 493.
That's something that's rather eye-popping for an Astros catcher. You know, somebody was asking us before the game tonight, you mean Mitch Molesky hit 14 homers in 2000 and nobody has hit more than that as an Astros catcher since then? That's right.
Well, keep in mind that Brad Ausmus was the catcher for many years here, a great catcher, and a guy who did everything he could with the bat. He wasn't a power hitter. So I think that probably responds to that a bit. I have so much admiration for Brad Ausmus and the job he did behind the plate.
Oh, no doubt. And the Astros had so much power on most of the teams he played on. There was not a real crying need for a catcher to deliver home runs, doubles. The configuration of the club, of course, totally different now. And you have a catcher in Castro hitting third quite often. That's a real switch from recent years. 2 balls and a strike. And I don't know that if you go back down through the 51 years of Astros history, you can find a catcher who consistently hit third for this club.
I don't think you can find that for any club.
True.
Joe Mauer might be a guy, and I don't know exactly where Joe typically hits in the Twins order. He's a singles hitter, singles, doubles kind of a hitter.
I think maybe Ted Simmons with the Cardinals. I think maybe he hit third. They have those rabbits up in front of him. Speedy guys, number 1 and 2 spots. Ted drove in a lot of runs. Fly ball left field. And coming in for it now for the running catch is Schaefer. We were told he had good range and ran kind of a semicircular route to that one, but with his speed, no problem for out number 2.
Yeah, it wasn't an extremely sharp route, but boy, he was digging.
Just kept his legs moving. Good things happened for him. J.D. Martinez led off the Astros second with a single. Sometimes we see these guys and they look like they're running in quicksand, though, Ash.
Oh, I've been there. That stuff's hard to get out of.
You know, you never hear anything about quicksand anymore. It's a strike to Martinez. Remember, it used to be in all the cowboy movies, somebody would always fall in a quicksand pit.
Well, the cartoons were loaded with it. I was scared to death as a kid of it.
Whatever happened to quicksand?
I thought quicksand was going to be around every corner that I went around.
think sinkholes might have replaced it.
Certainly in Florida.
Wow. Altuve more likely to run now with 2 outs in the inning now that Castro has been retired. And so he'll draw that attention from Milwaukee. Lucroy has thrown out 17% of those trying to steal. Altuve's 13 for 17. Lucroy 7 of 35. Foul back. And it's 0-2. The running Astros had it on the move in the last series.
I believe as we look at the running game here, we just had an interference called on the catcher, but the Astros have been picking up this running game. They were all out moving last night. Able to just beat the wrap on some of these throws. Jose Altuve is not a bad base thief.
So 8 steals in that 4-game series. Now the interference called on Lucroy is regarded as an error on him. It's no at bat for J.D. Martinez. Here's a look at it.
If that bat hits a part of the glove, and you can see the glove really does come up in the zone. And Lucroy looked like he tried to pull the glove back right away. Immediately Martinez pointing toward the glove.
Chris Carter gets an at bat and fouls it for strike 1. Because of that, and because it happened with 2 outs, any runs that would score in this inning would be unearned. Carter reached on the error by Betancourt in the 2nd inning. Just ESPN had a quiz on the baseball rules today. Pretty fascinating quiz of 10 questions, including one on catcher's interference. Let's say the batter swings and his swing catches the portion of the catcher's mitt, as happened with Martinez and Lucroy. He hits the ball and the base runners run and everybody moves up at least 1 base. The manager could take that over just the batter reaching on catcher's interference.
It's hitter's option. And ultimately, I guess, manager's option.
Yep.
I've seen guys get base hits with interference involved on the play. And obviously, you're going to go ahead and take that base hit instead. Andy Van Slyke used to get me at will.
Oh, he got a lot of guys, didn't he?
Just ate me up.
He might be the all-time leader in reaching on catcher's interference.
You know, there's a stat that we just haven't made enough of through the years.
Nobody talks about this anymore.
It's much like quicksand as I see it.
Ever since Andy Van Slyke got out of the game, it's been kind of a forgotten way of reaching base. You know, you never hear it when they talk about rallies, game-winning rallies. Well, you mix in a catcher's interference.
A walk-off catcher's interference. Never have heard of that one.
Fouled away. Well, one thing's for sure, if you're Alfredo Figueroa right now, you're forced to work a little bit harder facing Chris Carter after that catcher's interference. 2 outs in the inning. He's at 51 pitches for the night. And they're at probably 4 cotton candies for the night.
Which is better, the baseball or the cotton candy?
Let's see.
I'm going to weigh this one. When my sister's grabbing for the baseball, it's definitely the baseball.
Runners take off, and it's a strikeout to end the 3rd inning. No runs, no hits, an error, and 2 men left. And after 3, it's tied at 1. Is brought to you by MD Anderson, making cancer history. June 18th, 1967. Don Wilson of the Astros tossed a no-hitter in a 2-0 shutout against the Atlanta Braves. He became the youngest rookie ever to pitch a no-hitter at age 22 and youngest pitcher to throw one since Bob Feller in 1940. Before he retired, he pitched 2 no-hitters for the Astros. Logan Schaefer leads it off, fouls it back. There is strike one. I believe he struck out Hank Aaron 3 times in that no-hitter.
Hard thrower. Hard to imagine that you can throw it on by Hammer and Hank like that 3 times in a game.
Isn't it, though? Schaefer hit a fly ball to center field first time up. That's in for a strike for Jordan Lyles, who escaped bases loaded trouble after the Brewers tied it on the Jeanette RBI infield hit. He got Ramirez on a strikeout and Lucroy on another play to end the inning. That's a slicing fly ball. J.D. Martinez over near the left field line, and it's foul. Tim Welke with a call.
Hank Aaron, definitely one of the magic names for me as a kid as I kind of embarked upon this quest of everything baseball. Mickey Mantle, Roberto Clemente, Pete Rose back in those days.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know, you might disagree with this, but I always thought that Roger Maris and Hank Aaron were underrated defensively because they were known as home run hitters.
Yeah, maybe so. I remember hearing a lot about, I guess, both guys defensively.
Altuve charging the slow hopper. Quick throw to first. And that had to be quick to get Schaefer.
This moment in history is brought to you by MD Anderson, making cancer history. And the trivia question, who were the opposing pitcher and catcher during Don Wilson's no-hitter? That was against the Atlanta Braves.
1967.
Yeah, that gets really intriguing. And they're names that are quite prominent in the history of the game. In fact, one of them still involved in baseball.
Okay.
One of them in the ballpark here tonight.
Ooh. Betancourt fouls it back, strike one. Let's see. From 1967?
1967.
Somebody who was involved in that year, that game, is here tonight.
Probably heard a lot of comedy from one of these guys in regards to a certain pitch that's been thrown in the game for years.
Well, Milo Hamilton's here tonight.
Oh, there's Bob Uecker. Just a bit outside for Bob, and he was the catcher in that one. Sure, he had about 4 or 5 hits in that one. No, he couldn't have, could he?
He might not have had 4 or 5 hits all year. Just kidding, Bob.
And it was Phil Necro flipping up the knuckleballs in that one. I wonder if Bob caught any of those that night.
Well, his famous line when asked about how a catcher catches a knuckleball is, says, wait until it stops rolling and pick it up.
Best way to do it, and I completely concur.
Now it's 3 balls, 1 strike, and Jordan Lyles needs to come up with something on Betancourt.
Bob Uecker, one of the classy guys in this game. He is fun.
He is so much fun. He just has that gift. Remember when he went on the Tonight Show all the time?
Johnny Carson loved it.
Oh, rolled out to Altuve's left. He gets there and makes the throw on to Carlos Pena. He had to cover a lot of territory. He was shading up the middle, but that ball was kind of snaking through the infield grass, wasn't it?
Looked like it was. Some unique plays already tonight. Guys getting down the line. Get rid of the ball in a hurry. Yeah, I think Johnny Carson asked Bob Uecker how he knew when he had been released by a ball club, and Bob said when he had the no visitors allowed in the clubhouse sign in his locker.
Juan Francisco tripled and scored in the 3rd. He is just a beauty. How does he come up with all these lines? Astros playing him to pull on the infield. Francisco punches one, and that's foul for strike 1. Francisco, one of 5 first basemen for Milwaukee. All have played their first game ever in the big leagues at first base this year. That's nuts. And Corey Hart's been out all season long. Prince Fielder played just about every game there for about 7 or 8 years, so it's been quite an unusual revolving door at first for the Brewers. No balls, 2 strikes. That would be a good trivia question. If somebody could come up with the answer to who the 5 first basemen have been to start for Milwaukee this year.
I couldn't touch that.
No. We'll have to look it up. Fly ball left. This is going to carry back to the wall, maybe beyond, and J.D. Martinez plays it off that wall, fires into second base. Very well played to hold him to an opposite field single off the wall.
Does that make you think of the legend of Carl Yastrzemski at Boston's Fenway Park?
It sure does. He kind of decoyed, didn't he?
Did a nice job getting back, and I don't know if that set up Juan Francisco or not, but well, when it's all said and done, to have only a single off of this ball, kind of unique.
Well, doesn't it look like he might be getting in position now? He backs off.
Yeah, I wonder if Francisco thought he had a home run.
He may have. He got an opposite field single with 2 outs, and he's aboard for Scooter Gennett. Gennett drove in a run with that infield hit to shortstop. That's ball 1.
You consider that the Brewers have 5 hits already and just 1 run on the board. Great work by Jordan Lyles. Some nights you're going to give up some hits. Can you minimize the runs?
Well, didn't Greg Maddux pitch some of those 10-hit complete games every now and then?
I imagine he did. Tell you what he did. He could not only pick up the W on a given night, but he'd do it in about 2 hours.
He would do it in 2 hours. He'd hardly walk anybody at all. Hardly anybody pull the ball down the first to third base lines when Maddux was pitching. It was uncanny.
Could backdoor that, or front door baseball terminology, that fastball on the left-hand hitters on the inside corner time after time.
1 ball, 2 strikes. So who do you think of the guys that you faced regularly were the toughest pitchers to face?
Well, the right side of the plate for me, hitting, was always the toughest. So if I talk about the tough pitchers for me, and statistically it was Fernando Valenzuela. Just chewed me up, spit me out, laughed at me on the way back to the dugout. Steve Carlton was tough. Those kinds of left-handers. Ron Guidry, I remember when he was in his big streak and I was in the American League at the time. Those guys I first would look to.
Struck him out, and that ends the top of the 4th inning with no runs a hit and a man left. Jordan Lyles hanging right in at 1-1 in the 4th.
tied up at 1. Join us Friday, June 28th for our next Big and Bright Friday night. The Astros take on the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim at 7:10. Stay after the game for a spectacular Michael Jackson-themed fireworks show presented by Marathon Oil. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com to get your tickets now.
We do enjoy those big and bright Friday nights. Carlos Pena to lead it off here in the home 4th inning. It's a 1-1 game, and Milwaukee's had more traffic on the bases than Houston. The Astros have been held to 1 hit through the first 3. Pena lined out to right in the 2nd inning when the Astros had runners at 2nd and 3rd and nobody out. That was the first out, but Dominguez later delivered a run with a sac fly. Strike for Figueroa. Nationals and Phillies are tied 1-1. They're in the middle of the 5th inning in Philadelphia. Jason Worth hit his 7th for the Nationals against his former club. Both those clubs under 500 right now. Pretty disappointing for both of them to this point in the season. 1 ball, 1 strike. Royals lead the Indians 2-1. They've had a resurgence here in recent days. They're at the end of 7 in Cleveland. The Royals have worked their way back to 500. Pena with a lofty foul ball sends it outside the third base line and into the seats.
Those Royals, when the Astros recently went into Kansas City, they were a completely reeling and lost ball club. They got George Brett, brought him on to help the hitters, and I don't know how much that has impacted what's gone on, but they've turned it around.
They sure have. The Blue Jays are in flight again tonight, Ash. They are leading the Rockies 8-3 in the bottom of the 8th inning.
They have been in flight of late.
Yeah, they've been reeling off the wins. JP Arancibia hit his 15th. Edwin Encarnacion his 19th. Meitzer is tourist number 4. For that talented Toronto ball club. There's a strikeout for Figueroa. That's number 2 of the night for him.
That high-priced Toronto Blue Jays ball club.
Yeah. Well, Josh Johnson gave them a good game. Maybe he's going to come around and lead them out of the wilderness. Justin Maxwell reached on a fielder's choice play back in the 2nd inning. That one loaded the bases. Pirates 4, Reds nothing. Top of the 7th in Cincinnati. That's ball 1. And those two clubs both have played well to this point in the season. Maxwell fouls it.
It's game number 72 that we're playing here tonight. Can you recall the first 10 on the season? Justin Maxwell, I'm sure can, and he was red hot, hitting .359 in that span. The slugging percentage was up with a couple of triples on opening day. And then the next 10, the last 10 that he played before the injury, boy, it got rough. 105 the batting average. All the numbers fell off hugely, and now he's trying to turn it back around.
Takes that high breaking ball, and it's 2-1. Well, that's such a long time ago, though, Ash. Don't know if he would remember that or not.
You think any hitter can't remember when he was hot?
2 balls and 2 strikes to J-Max.
Although some seasons will feel like it was just a speck in time.
Yeah. Brandon Barnes made up a nice homemade sign for J-Max and put it on top of his locker. Welcome back. Foul back, and it's still 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's been a man on the move. He went to Corpus Christi. He went to Oklahoma City. Maybe we should ask him about the state of the Astros farm system right now.
He might be a very good one to respond to that. Although when you're struggling to pick up any hits, you may not be noticing what other guys are doing around you.
He's not chasing, and it's a full count for Justin Maxwell. Well, last night, Oklahoma City lost to Round Rock 12-2. John Singleton hit his 3rd double at AAA. Up the right field line, coming over Aoki and weaving his way over toward the ball, but he won't get to it.
Now we can see some of the guys in the minor leagues that have been succeeding of late, as we see the guys that are succeeding in getting foul balls. Jonathan Singleton, we're hearing a lot about him. At AA and AAA, a couple of dingers, 320 the batting average. He seems to be a guy on the fast track. Jonathan VR, he can play at shortstop, and everything offensively starting to come along. And Delino DeShields, it's looking really good.
That's a foul ball. A lot of top hand in that one from J-Max.
The thing about Delino DeShields this year is I think at a little higher level of baseball, he's finding out that stealing 100 bags, stealing maybe 50 bags, not quite all that easy. Maxwell gets the head out, but just a little too early.
George Springer went 2 for 4 last night. J-Max hits a foul ball. And Springer the other night struck out all 4 times. But he has terrific numbers for the year. Leads Astros minor leaguers in homers.
Well, you were talking about Hank Aaron a while ago, a guy who early on in his career not only hit home runs but could steal bags. That's what George Springer does.
True. Is he the next Hank Aaron?
Well, I think we heard it right here. We're going to edit the way it came out of your mouth, and it's going to be a statement.
Maxwell really worked for that walk. That was a great job that time, man.
Sometimes it's just the little steps, being able to coax the walk, that'll get you going.
Get some balls foul and then laid off that final pitch. Now he becomes a base runner for Matt Dominguez, who delivered a bases loaded sac fly in the 2nd inning. 36 runs batted in for Matt. Maxwell goes. There's a bouncer behind him, and that goes through into right center field. Maxwell's legging it to third. Dave Tremblay stops him there. That's great bat work by Matt Dominguez. Terrific job with a bouncer into right center for a Dominguez single. That's all he needed to do to get a hit.
You get that man in motion. You pick the correct side of the infield in terms of hitting the ground ball. You don't need to hit it sharply. And that's just finding the gap and taking advantage. Watch Maxwell come to and around third base. He's coming all the way. And that's exactly what Dave Tremblay wants. Dave, and he was giving me his message as a third base coach today. He was talking about he doesn't want guys just coming to third base. He wants them coming to score. He'll let them know when it's time to stop. And the further you can work your way down that third base line, the better position you're in to give the guy that opportunity to see the stop.
Now 1st and 3rd one out for Gonzalez. Marwin has hit the ball just about equally to all 3 outfields on his hit. And he's bunting, and here comes Maxwell, and the throw to the plate not in time. The Astros take the lead 2-1 on a well-executed bunt by Marwin Gonzalez. That's the 13th run batted in for Gonzalez, who leads the American League in sacrifice bunts. This time he reaches.
There's that safety squeeze that Bo Porter likes to use time and time again. And it's so much more effective when you have some speed on the bases. Maxwell provides that at third. I'll tell you what, if I'm an opposing ball club with the scouts the way they scout these teams, and you've got Marwin Gonzalez at the plate and a chance for the safety squeeze, I'm going to look for it almost every time he's at the plate.
He advances 2 runners, and he reaches base himself.
Of course, I'm not sure what you do. I mean, you can pitch out, but you get to a point where a pitch out time and time again means you're just simply going to walk a guy, and you don't want that. Very effective weapon with Marwin at the plate.
Rule of sacrifice and a fielder's choice. Now Brandon Barnes, the batter. In the dirt ball one. Now Marwin just continues to lay those bunts down with such precision. And that's his 8th sacrifice this year, scoring Maxwell. Not only does it score Maxwell, give the Astros the lead, but moves Dominguez into scoring position. And now it's 1-0 as Barnes tries to make this an even bigger inning. It was an athletic attempt by Figueroa to get the out at home. Headlong play. Barnes got cheated on that swing, and Brandon now has a 1-1 count.
That's your 1-0 guess fastball, get slider swing.
The Milwaukee bullpen has been sensational with a 2.94 ERA. They're trying to play comeback in the late innings against the Brewers is a very difficult assignment this year. Barnes puts it in the air toward the seats.
Yeah, they've struggled with their starting staff. Their bullpen has been a strength.
Julia Morales has something for us. Julia.
Hey guys, just in, the Astros completing a trade with the Yankees, acquiring a minor league right-hander Charles Basford in exchange for Fernando Martinez. You know, he was in AAA. Basford will report to Tri-City.
Well, Fernando had been hurt, and then he was designated for assignment several weeks ago, accepted the assignment to AAA. And so he's now headed for the Yankees. He's a former Met. Whoa, over the head of Barnes, and the runners move up on the wild pitch by Figueroa.
I think Bob Uecker called that one.
Just a bit high.
Wow, that's an official wild pitch. Bob Uecker famous for the just a bit outside line.
What was that character's name? Harry Doyle?
I think that's right.
It was a beauty.
I think Bob was just looking it up on the internet. What was my name in that movie?
Now runners at second and third, and a 2-2 count with one out for Barnes. Now with that, the infield moves in. So that could be a very costly wild pitch.
Could you have an inning with 2 safety squeezes in it?
Ooh.
Not likely with 2 strikes here.
No. Brandon Barnes is hitting .429 with runners in scoring position this season. Fouls it back. Well, of course, Jimmy Paredes just rejoined the Oklahoma City Redhawks, so that gives the Astros that extra player in the outfield, but Maxwell came from there, and evidently Fernando Martinez going to the Yankees. Their injury situation pretty well documented. The Yankees are shopping around for low-cost acquisitions these days, so the Astros trade Martinez and get a pitcher for him, Charles Basford.
Of course, the Yankees making that move probably out of need right now. They've had injury problems all year long. Mark Teixeira now back on the DL. And their outfield has been decimated at times. So you could see where the Yankees were trying to make a deal like that. The guy the Astros get back, a 37th rounder last year.
Pitched at Samford. Altuve's on deck. And a swing and a foul tip. Barnes really chased ball 4 there for a strikeout. 3rd strikeout for Figueroa.
Not quite the same launch job to the backstop we saw earlier, but pretty close.
Now Altuve will try for the big 2-out hit. He's 0 for 2 with 2 ground balls tonight. Jason Castro's on deck. Ball 1 in the dirt. Orioles 5, Tigers 1, top of the 7th inning in Detroit. Adam Jones hit his 15th for Baltimore. J.J. Hardy his 14th. For Detroit, it was number 3 for Matt Tuiasosopo. Mets 2, Braves nothing. They're in the top of the 7th. And that is game 2 of a doubleheader. They called up the youngster Harvey. Well, he took a no-no into the 7th. He called up another youngster for the 2nd part of that doubleheader. Matt Harvey took a no-hitter into the 7th, and the Mets won 4-3 in the opener. as Harvey went to 6-1 and John Buck hit his 12th homer. Bobby Parnell got save number 10. Harvey, very dynamic rookie pitcher.
Matt Harvey, certainly one of those guys right now that seems to give you an opportunity for that possible no-hit bid every time he runs out there.
Yeah. Now 3-0 for Figueroa. And he's thrown 78 pitches. Dodgers and Yankees postpone. And they will make it up as part of a doubleheader tomorrow. A game in New York. It's an interleague game, so they'll try to make it up right away. Historic interleague matchup. 3 balls and a strike. Red Sox waited out a delay, and they won the opener of their series from Tampa Bay 5-1. Alfredo Aceves going to 4-1. And we'll have to check on Will Myers to see if he was in the lineup for Tampa Bay and what he did. This should have been his major league debut tonight. That's out into right center field. Gomez with the play. And the Astros on a nice bunt. It's a safety squeeze. We've seen a few of those this year. It works again. They take a 2-1 lead as Gonzalez puts it down.
This is Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico viewers. Listen up. Comcast Sportsnet covers the entire 5-state region, and we want your story ideas. Email us your ideas at regionalroundup@comcastsportsnet.com. And the Brewers are up to bat first, and that is Nori Aoki, and it's intense times for him right now, especially his wife. His wife is due to give birth on Thursday, so he might be forced to return home from the team's road trip if something happens in the next couple of days, because we're getting close, guys.
So if we see him running toward the dugout at any point, we'll know what's going on.
You'll know why.
Top of the 5th inning, it's 2-1. Jordan Lyles and the Astros leading it. Aoki is grounded out twice. Taps it foul, strike 1. Julia was here early today, Ash.
She's always here early.
Well, she was here earlier than normal.
Yeah.
She and Corey Heppola were over in Union Station, and they were co-hosting the latest edition of Bases Loaded.
We were trying to get you on, Brownie. We saw you sneaking by.
Oh. Well, I would have come on. Well, in fact, Ash and I are going to be on now that you bring it up.
That's right.
Forgot about that.
That's right. No, we got a good show coming up this week. Just these last 2 series and things coming up, like the Chicago Cubs around the corner.
Yeah. Do you have special features that you've done for the show?
You know, I did have a one-on-one with Andrew Thurman, that draft pick we talked to yesterday. We'll have more for him.
Well, you know, Ash was kind of fascinated by that head of hair on Andrew Thurman.
I think he's just going to dominate the market of hair products for years to come.
I'm disappointed we didn't get more into that in the interview.
Yeah. I think Joe Mauer and C.J. Wilson are in big trouble.
Head and Shoulders commercial.
Yeah,
coming up.
you got it.
But for those who are follically challenged, that might not be a show to watch.
Oh, get off me, Brownie.
3 balls and a strike for Jordan Lyles. Okay, he comes back. He was headed for first. And it's 3-2. Well, let's see. Will Myers was in the lineup in right field, and he went 0 for 4 for the Rays tonight in his debut against Boston. But he's a special talent, according to all reports. Foul back. Let's take a look at this guy, Ash.
Oh, man, that's a head of hair right there.
With the Astros. Please join us in welcoming.
Can't you see it coming? I mean, he's just going to dominate the market.
He is. Foul back.
I'd like to be his agent right about now. In fact, it kind of feels like I'm angling toward that.
Well, you know, Ash, Scott Boras is in town.
Maybe chat up things with him.
Yeah, he could give you some pointers. Slap foul.
Boy, that's about as reminiscent of Ichiro's little swing sometimes that you'll see. Kind of falling out of the box, heading down the first base line. Look at this. Just kind of go on and drop the barrel on the ball.
Yeah.
Just a magic wand that Ichiro's had through the years.
It's not quite working with the magical precision this year.
He's slipped here in recent times.
It's a fly ball out to Barnes in center. And it's out number 1. Now, Julia was telling us that in Japan, in batting practice, they've got all kinds of specialists to throw. If you're a left-handed hitter and you want a left-handed curveball, you can get as many of those on demand. It's just like ordering sushi, isn't it, Julia? Or is that not correct?
Just like.
Not that.
So there's a menu you fill out before batting practice.
Yeah.
Here's what I'd like to get.
I'll have a number 7, please, with the fried rice. Gene Segura takes strike 1.
It's true, though. They do things a lot differently when it comes to batting practice with the BP throwers or professionals and former pitchers that go in and can throw you any kind of pitch you want to see. And the guys face righties and lefties.
Unheard of here in the States.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if you offer to spin one to some hitters, they'll just tell you real quickly, can that stuff. Just throw it right here, okay? Nice and straight right here.
The amount of time they spend in the cage is a little bit different, too. Instead of a few swings like the guys do here, it's more of like 5 minutes in there before you get a break.
Okay. So very concentrated work.
Well, that sounds to me like there's no need to keep saying 2 more, 2 more.
Strikeout number 4. And now, Julia, can you confirm the fact that they train by running in the mountains, or is that part of their...
Running in the mountains?
Yeah.
There's a lot of running. I'm not sure if they're running in the mountains, but I can tell you there is a lot of running over there.
Okay.
It's not just the pitchers, it's everybody who does the running.
Carlos Gomez is 1 for 2.
The Astros, you may recall, used to run the famed and dreaded hill back in spring training.
All right. That's into the left field corner. Gomez is hustling for second base. And he's hustling hard and going for third, and now jamming on the brakes and getting back to second. He does run hard. That's his 17th double for Carlos Gomez.
Boy, that was classic stuff as to how to run the bases. Full out coming around second base. And he had triple on his mind, but then shut it down rather than like you see with so many guys who got double on their mind and then all of a sudden, oh, I better go one more here, and they turn it on.
Well, that's 37 extra base hits, second in the league.
Watch him go. That's a double. Look at him come to second base. That is triple on the mind all the way.
Yeah, he's on a mission. Well, that's his 17th double. He has 12 homers. He has 8 triples.
8 triples, you say?
Yes. Ramos Ramirez has struck out twice. There's ball 1. Now, You know, Ash, you probably didn't get 8 triples in a year, an entire season, right?
I was thinking more like career.
1 ball, 1 strike. And Ramirez in this position with a man in scoring position to be able to tie this ball game. And 6 hits now for the Brewers, 2 for the Astros. But you could score from first on a double though. Bouncer shortstop. Marwin takes extra time and makes the throw to Pena. No runs a hit and a man left. Middle of the 5th inning. 2-1 Astros.
We want to remind you to tune into Chevy Hometown Kids every Saturday morning at 9:30 on CSN. Chevy Hometown Kids, where it's not about the score, but the experience, guys.
Thanks, Julia. 2-1 ball game here. Bottom of the 5th inning coming up for the Astros. Castro, Martinez, and Carter due up against Alfredo Figueroa. The Astros took lead on a safety squeeze bunt by Marwin Gonzalez in the 4th inning. And they have managed only 2 hits off Figueroa, both singles. Now Jason Castro, who is 0 for 2, comes around for the 3rd time, looking for a birthday hit. And taking that one in the dirt, ball 1. Well, there's a story out tonight that the San Jose City Council has voted to sue Major League Baseball for refusing to let the Oakland A's move to San Jose.
It's been going on for years.
The Giants have a minor league team in San Jose, so they own that territory, so to speak. So why don't they sue the Giants? Giants would have to get permission.
I think it's about taking a vote amongst the owners, and that vote has been delayed time and time again.
That situation has been studied for about, what, 4.5 years now?
I think it's in that neighborhood.
Okay. The San Jose City Council says the city is losing $130 million because of Major League Baseball's stalled process allowing the A's to move to San Jose.
Now, I don't believe they have a stadium in place yet. Or am I wrong on that one?
Well, they don't have a Major League stadium in place yet. Castro swinging on 3-0, fouled it. And now 3-2 to Jason.
Take a peek at this pitch. A little bit of that running action. Jason thinks it's inside.
Ground ball up the middle. There's a birthday hit for Jason Castro. He's 1 for 3, and that gets it going in the Astros' 5th inning.
That's where under your breath you say thank you to Mike Everett, the home plate umpire, for calling that second strike and giving you the chance. Thank you, buddy. I completely agree with that call.
Yes. Castro's aboard. J.D. Martinez, who picked up the first Houston hit and scored in the 2nd inning, is 1 for 1.
Well, what do you think if the Oakland A's want to move down to San Jose, and they do, and they've had miserable support, quite frankly, in the Oakland area, why should they be prevented from doing so? I guess the Giants feel that for various reasons they own that area in San Jose.
Well, I think that's why the commissioner of baseball can rule in the best interests of baseball. And he could talk with the Giants and say, look, it's good for Major League Baseball for Oakland to move there.
Yeah, but can he go in reverse and say to the Oakland A's, it's good in the interest of baseball to keep you guys from moving out of your very rough situation because it might impact the Giants, who draw and fill the ballpark every night. Is that fair?
It's a tough call.
And how many of those fans are coming from San Jose? Hard to say.
It's been a difficult issue for years now. Fly ball up the right field line. Aoki pursuing it over to foul ground and coming in with the running catch there. That's out number 1. It's easy to be commissioner for a day, right?
I don't know if even for a day if it's easy. I'd like to give it a try at sometimes.
The commissioner's in Houston, by the way, for the Major League Baseball Diversity Summit at the George R. Brown Convention Center. That'll be taking place tonight and tomorrow.
Is he just avoiding a decision on this other thing with the A's and the Giants?
He's a busy guy.
And what about slow baseball?
Okay, we'll address that. Chris Carter, the batter. Brandon Kinsler warming up. There's ball 1. Or make it strike 1.
And the PGA's got Arnold Palmer saying, while we're young, and I don't know, I'm ready to see that little ad program go out for the game.
Okay.
I think you are as well.
Yes. There are others who would sign on to that. No balls, 2 strikes on Chris Carter. But what about the hitters who say, you're taking me out of my game if you don't let me step out of the box in between pitches?
I say, you got to be kidding me, right? You know, the first time a guy goes up and doesn't do that and he gets a hit, he'll think, wow, why didn't I do this all along?
Line shot to left field, picked up by Schaefer. He fires in toward third with a good play. Castro wanted to make it to third, but it was fielded cleanly by Schaefer.
That ball was racky-tacked. MLB.com at bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Astros baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and a whole lot more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Astros.com for your details.
Oh, we just got a phone call from Commissioner Seelig. He's granting you 3 wishes. You can be commissioner for the next 5 minutes.
What is he, a genie?
Well, he might be a genie. Carlos Pena's 0 for 2. Or genius. There's ball 1. So he's going to give you, you can be granted 3 wishes, oh commissioner, for the next few minutes.
Man, you are something.
What are you going to come up with?
You know, I'll say this. Baseball, I love when it's being played. I don't enjoy it much when it's not being played, and I find that a lot of the time play is coming at you in a minimal form.
It's a shot to right field. It's hooking hard. Pena has hit a 3-run shot. Carlos Pena hit a no-doubter for distance, but would it stay fair? He hooked it. He kept it fair for number 7. That's a big blow to give the Astros a 5-1 lead.
Well, before I could get it out of my mouth, number 1, I was going to request a home run from Carlos Pena right about then.
Okay.
And so he came through, and then numbers 2 and 3, I would just simply ask that we follow the rule book, the elements that are in the rule book about pitchers throwing the baseball, and Carlos Pena couldn't care less about what I'm talking about right now. It's all about just destructing a baseball. That ball was hammered.
Resounding sound off that bat.
Just stay fair for me. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Just about more free chicken sandwiches for everybody in attendance here tonight, but he didn't quite hit the foul pole. That'll do it for Alfredo Figueroa. After the 3-run bomb by Pena, makes it 5-1. Back in a moment. Yep, giving him 21 runs batted in. The Astros lead at 5-1 after that line shot way over the right field wall. So now a 4-run lead. That prompts a pitching change for Ron Renicky. Alfredo Figueroa KO'd after 4 1/3 innings. He allowed 5 hits, 5 runs, walking 2, fanning 3, and he gives way to Brandon Kintzler.
Kintzler, 28 years of age, in his 29th appearance this year for the Brewers. He's finished up 5 games for Milwaukee. He's one of the many pitchers allowing just about a hit per inning. He's been tough on left-hand hitters, but he's a little bit late for Carlos Pena.
Yeah, that was a resounding blast by Carlos.
The Astros playing that bunt and a bomb theory tonight.
Yes. It was a very sacrificial game as far as scoring the first 2 runs. Matt Dominguez sac fly and a sac bunt on the safety squeeze by Gonzalez, but now a real blast by Pena. And ball 1 to Maxwell. J-Max scored on that bunt after walking. Waves at that one for a 1-1 count. Kintzler part of a Milwaukee bullpen with a 2.94 ERA. And even better than that in recent games. It's now a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Kintzler is from Las Vegas, 28 years old. Last year spent some time on the disabled list with elbow inflammation. Pitched in 14 games for the Brewers. He throws that for a strike, and it's a 2-2 count. Carlos Pena really woke up some people. They've been nodding off.
I imagine Carlos is thinking, boy, I hope I woke up my bat again.
Strike 3 call. 2 outs. J-Max having a word with the home plate umpire, Mike Everett.
It's one of those bottom of the knees at best scenarios. Mike Everett saw it maybe a little better than that.
Matt Dominguez chased home the first run with a sac fly. Then he singled on a hit and run play. At least we think it was a hit and run play. There's ball 1.
Sure appeared to be that.
Yes. Sometimes we think it is, but we'll find out later it wasn't. The last 39 games, Brewers relief pitchers have a 2.18 ERA. That's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. The only bullpen with a better ERA in the National League is the Atlanta Braves, 2.74. 2 balls and 1 strike. Kinsler attended Pasadena City College. Line shot center field. Here's Gomez tracking it down. He gets great jumps and he is fast. 3 runs on 3 hits. Pena rifles number 7 of the year to extend the lead to 5-1 Astros in the 5th. Brought to you by Jack in the Box. Now's your chance to go big at Jack in the Box. Try Jack's Big Stack Burger. 2 jumbo beef patties stacked with onion rings, cheese, and pickles. And by Progressive. Visit Progressive.com today. 5-1, the Astros lead it after 5 with Jordan Lyles in quest of win number 4 of the season. Beautiful downtown Houston, Texas. The lights shining brightly in the distance. And there's strike 1 as Jonathan Lucroy leads it off in the 6th inning. He is 0 for 2. Tomorrow, it's Kyle Loesch and Eric Bedard with a 7:10 start tomorrow night. Strike for Lyles. That makes it 0-2 for Jordan. Giovanni Gallardo and Lucas Harrell match up in the Thursday finale of this homestand with a 1:10 start. Then the Astros are off to historic Wrigley Field in Chicago for 3-day games, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then right back here next week. St. Louis Cardinals, Tampa Bay Rays coming to Minute Maid Park on the next homestand. Plenty of storylines with those 2 clubs. Bouncer shortstop. Tracked down by Marwin. Long throw, and he makes that throw. Very good fashion. One down. Marwin Gonzalez. Big game tonight.
He's got a good pair of hands. This is one of those kind of little in-betweeners that can eat a lot of guys up, but nicely handled by Marwin. Stays down with the body.
Just checking that next homestand. It's actually St. Louis for 2, the Angels for 3, and then Tampa Bay for 4. So we don't want to forget the Angels in the midst of the Cardinals and the Rays. Logan Schaefer is 0 for 2.
A lot of people have been forgetting about the Angels.
That's ball 1.
Oh, they were supposed to be good this year, and it has not worked out to this point.
Take it back to the Zach Greinke trade last year. Maybe that was the beginning of the problem. Burke Badenhop is warming up the bullpen for Milwaukee. Fly ball center. Barnes. 2 outs.
I imagine a lot of people are probably leaning in that regard to the Albert Pujols deal. Just even though he put up pretty good numbers when it was all said and done last year, it's not the impact that I think the Angels anticipated they were going to have.
Right. Now Betancourt, he's grounded out twice. He shoots one into center field. Line drive single by Betancourt. The Brewers continue to have the edge in base hits on the Astros. That's number 7.
The Astros take on the Milwaukee Brewers this Thursday at 1:10 p.m. Be sure to get to Minute Maid Park early, as 10,000 fans will receive a drawing bag. Make that a drawstring bag, excuse me, courtesy of the MLB Network. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS to get your tickets now.
All right. What are we going to do with our drawstring?
Drawstring bag. I mean, there's just all kinds of things you could do on a road trip, and you're taking a road trip.
Yeah. Okay, we can figure out a use for those. Juan Francisco's 2 for 2. Fly ball left. J.D. Martinez waiting. To end the top of the 6th inning with no runs, a hit and a man left. It is 5-1 Houston.
It's a 5-1 Houston lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, as we take a look at our Avis replay. And it's all about Marwin Gonzalez tonight. Marwin, you're talking about the bunt and bomb offense. He has been part of the bunt side of things this year. 3 safety squeezes successfully laid down, and he leads the league in sacrifice bunts. There's a couple of them. Boy, he can really lay it down. And now tonight, a good bunt on that first base side. Justin Maxwell diving in, putting that second run on the board. And that was a big one, giving the Astros the lead. And they have extended that lead on the bomb portion of things. That by Carlos Pena, 3-run homer.
Mark Badenhop is warming up for the home 6th inning. 34 games for Badenhop, an 0-3 record at 3.52 ERA and a low whip.
Well, he's filthy on the right-hand hitters. 197 the batting average. The lefties have enjoyed things. When it's all said and done, though, don't walk many people. You allow a few less hits than innings pitched, and that whip is going to be really good. And his right near that 1 mark is really good.
5-1 game. The Astros lead it. Marwin Gonzalez is first up here in the home 6th inning. He had the fly ball to center field, and then that sacrifice bunt that scored a run on a safety squeeze. There's ball 1. That's really become his specialty. Strike there makes it 1 ball, 1 strike. It's 1-2 to Marwin. Familiar feel for this stretch of games for the Astros. 3 with Milwaukee, 3 with the Cubs. And then make it 8 games, in fact. 2 back with St. Louis on the next homestand. Broken bat, right back to Badenhop. 1 out. Now Brandon Barnes, he's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. The Cardinals came into the game tonight with a 45-25 record. 643 winning percentage atop the NL Central, and the best winning percentage by far in Major League Baseball. Second best belongs to Cincinnati at 606. On showing bunt. Takes that one for ball 1. That's a high strike call. It's a 1 ball, 1 strike count.
I think Orbit's acting a bit like he's the guy that hit the 3-run bomb tonight. Showing off with the kids.
Orbit feeling his oats.
Looks like it.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
I think he's just showing off the guns right there.
Orbit's been seen in the weight room. You got a fitness club membership.
Nice.
2 balls and 2 strikes. He doesn't want to get too trim, though.
Could lose the gig.
Yeah. You are who you are. If you're Orbit, you should stay Orbit. Strikeout looking for Barnes. That's out number 2.
He has many nice things as Brandon Barnes has done. This is part of a curious part of the whole program. The times he's been caught looking.
Two outs, and it's Jose Altuve now. Jose's 0 for 3. Well, in Texas, Arlington, Texas, that is, it's 5-2 Oakland. That's strike 1. As the first place Athletics have the lead in the bottom of the 7th inning over the Rangers. Brandon Moss at his 13th home run. John Jaso number 2. Jared Parker pitching. Rangers have really been hit with some pitching injuries this year. And they went through a stretch of not scoring many runs at all the last 2.5 weeks or so. Parker holding them at bay tonight. Yu Darvish gave up 4 earned runs in 6 innings. Ooh, that's a tough call. 1-2. Did that ball ever cross the plate, in your opinion?
Probably not. You see it a lot, though. And tough to keep your mouth shut and go about your business.
Oh, Altuve strikes out. It's a 1-2-3 6th inning, and it's 5-1 Astros.
Astros, and I'm out here with a really fun young youth crew from House of Refuge out in Pasadena. They're here because they're Astros fans, but they're also here to support their pastor, Mike Gonzalez, whose son is Michael Gonzalez, a reliever for the Milwaukee Brewers, a lefty out there who went to Harvest Christian Academy in Pasadena. My fan of the game, my progressive fan of the game, is Brianna right here because she's having to deal with this fandom of being on both sides here. How are you handling this?
It's actually really good because what kind of sucks because whenever an Astro gets Brewers out, it kind of sucks because they're like, man, I'm like, yeah, and I'm afraid they're gonna have a right on me. But oh man, it's all good.
All right, well, make sure to cheer for the Astros a little more than the Brewers. But have a good time, everybody, and congratulations on being progressive fan of the game, Brownie.
Thanks, Julia. Fun group out there. Meanwhile, a foul ball by Scooter Jeanette leads it off in the 7th inning. 5-1, the Astros lead it. Jordan Lyles has thrown 89 pitches. Paul Clemens is working in the Houston bullpen. The count goes to 0-2.
Have you ever been about to have a riot on you, Brownie?
Yes. Yes, it's happened many times, Ash. You have not been around for those occasions.
Apparently I have not.
In fact, it might be happening in Chicago over the weekend.
At Wrigley, I would assume.
Oh, yeah. That place is a riot. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Quite a debut game for the Tri-City Valley Cats under skipper Ed Romero, former Astros coach. Last night, they won it. Paul Clemens working in the bullpen. They won it 9-3 over the Vermont Lake Monsters in front of a sold-out crowd of 4,889 in Troy, New York. Popped up behind the dish. Jason Castro back, mask off, ball behind the screen. Well, some of these guys who were just drafted and signed, the first baseman Conrad Gregor, who played in college, along with second sacker Tony Kemp at Vanderbilt. They both contributed to the win. Gregor had an RBI single, and Kemp had 3 hits. He was the SEC Player of the Year for Vanderbilt. He's about 5'7", about Jose Altuve's size. So it'll be interesting to follow those guys throughout the Tri-City season with more players to be added to that club, including the guy who joined us in the booth last night, Andrew Thurman, the Astros' second-round draft pick. 13,330 is the attendance tonight. So good luck to all those guys starting their professional careers with Tri-City. And Tri-City won a championship last year. Jordan Lyles had to hold the line for a while. He had a 1-0 lead. Then the Brewers tied it 1-1 with a 3rd inning run. The Astros squeezed home that 4th inning tally. He gets a strikeout here. That's number 5 for Jordan Lyles. But he was under some pressure in that 3rd inning after their run scored. They had the bases loaded and 1 out.
Now for those young players just signing and heading off to play professional baseball for the first time, there will be successes and heartbreaks, and it will all be worth it when it's said and done.
We know Ed Romero will not leave his team stranded and take the bus back home after the final game. Here's strike 2, Nori Aoki.
That was my experience in rookie ball.
As your manager, you finished what, a half game out of first?
Half game out.
And he left you
high and dry.
After the road finale, he took the bus back and left the team there.
We got rained out. It was deemed by our fine skipper that it was our fault that we got rained out. We didn't hustle enough to get into a start of the bottom of the 5th inning or top or whatever it was, and therefore we were not worthy of that bus ride back.
You just flunked weatherman school. That's nuts. Ground ball to short. Marwin Gonzalez. 2 outs.
Kevin Eschenfelder brings the heat with special guests and in-depth analysis on Sports Talk Live. That's every night at 5 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Two outs now, and it's Gene Segura batting. Segura was hit by a pitch, then he stole second and was stranded at third. Got an infield hit in the third. He's 1 for 2 tonight.
How about Jordan Lyles? He's doing it again. talked about 6 consecutive very good starts coming in.
That's ball 1. Jordan's 22 years old. It's a 2-ball, no strike count. In this run of starts, he's not given up more than 2 earned runs in any of them. That's a shortstop. Marwin to his left. Quick throw over to Carlos Pena. It's a 1-2-3-7 for Jordan Lyles, who's sitting at 99 pitches and a 5-1 lead. They're coming up against Fort Badenhop in a moment in the bottom of the 7th inning. It'll be Castro, Martinez, and Carter for Houston. Another enjoyable night for the fans here, and they've had a few on this homestand so far. A 3-1 record on the homestand, with a chance to make this really a memorable one, as they took those 3 one-run decisions from the White Sox, and now have a little bit more working room than they had in those Chicago games. 4-run lead as they come up in the home 7th. Tom Gorzolani warming up in the bullpen for Milwaukee. He's a left-hander. Jason Castro singled and scored in the 5th. That was a part of the 3-run rally on the Carlos Pena homer. Castro is 1 for 3. So that's a pretty good birthday, but 2 for 4 would be a much more enjoyable birthday. Let's see where he ranks in the All-Star voting. Well, Joe Mauer is first, Matt Wieters, A.J. Przinsky, top 3. So Jason is going relatively unrecognized by the voters. Okay, but statistically, you look at Carlos Santana and Jason Castro.
Those 2 players having almost the same season statistically, at least with the bat. I think on the other side, though, that Jason Castro has done quite a job. And if you look at the WAR ratings, the wins above replacement, Jason slightly above anybody else behind Joe Mauer. And I think he's put himself in a position where he's very worthy, and the Astros may find themselves as one of those clubs once again with just 1 All-Star. I think Jason might have the inside shot in that regard.
3-1.
Of course, Jose Altuve has already been an All-Star, and sometimes guys will repeat on reputation. Jose's had a very fine season to this point. I think right now Jason Castro would be my number 1 pick.
Out to center field, Gomez way back. Gomez up on Towns Hill. Oh, what a play by Carlos Gomez, robbing Jason Castro about 420 feet away.
That looked like kids on the sandlot right there. Looked like Gomez is having the time of his life. Look, Mom, did you see what I did on this play? Boy, that's a tough play, and Lance Berkman is the first one I recall turning this trick. Lance was extremely graceful in getting it done, too. Jason Castro gives it a ride. That is a heck of an effort. Rather similar.
That is one outstanding catch by Carlos Gomez. Banged his head on the grass as he fell. And the pitch to J.D. Martinez is ball one.
Boy, Tal's Hill has just gotten a workout here this year.
Yes, it has. On this homestand, had several balls hit up there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Great catch there by Brandon Barnes. Another ball was hit up there last night. Barnes went for that one, hit by Diane Viciedo. 1 ball, 2 strikes to J.D. Martinez. It's so difficult to make a play like that because of going up the hill, and especially for a visiting player who does not have many opportunities to field balls like that. That is a particular accomplishment for Carlos Gomez. And he has been truly a spectacular defensive outfielder down through the years, but probably doesn't get the credit he deserves. Here's another look.
This guy's quite an athlete and having a great season. Well, that's tough at that point. You're trying to run up a hill while looking back at the baseball. Shucks, it was nothing.
Of course, we've seen a lot of those home run robbing catches on the highlights down through the years. That one probably would have been a triple, depending on what would have happened had he not caught it. Does the ball roll away from him? Is he able to get up and fire it back in? But that was just blistered by Castro.
Yeah, I don't want to minimize any of the home run robbing jobs. Some of them absolutely tremendous. But Tal's Hill presents a very unique difficulty for an outfielder.
Yes, it does. Betancourt with a bad throw. J.D. Martinez will take off for second now. Scooter Gennett has to run it down up the right field line. And Betancourt's throw, an errant one. And that's his second error of the night.
Some throws are a little off the mark, and some are a little more off the mark. I think this one falls in that latter category. Routine, not exactly routine.
Tell you what, we'll get a pinch runner now. First of all, Trevor Crowe, pinch running for J.D. Martinez, probably stays into play left field. Tell you what, though, you go from the catch on Castro in center field by Gomez to that routine play, a poor throw by Betancourt. That is going from the sublime to the ridiculous on back-to-back plays. Now Crowe takes over as the base runner with Chris Carter, the batter. Carter's 1 for 3.
That base hit in the 5th inning by Carter, he hung out.
That's strike one to the powerful Chris Carter. Now he can take what appears to be a very easy swing, and the ball just rockets off his bat. Pena's on deck. That one sinks out of the strike zone. It's a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Burke Badenhop from Atlanta, Georgia, Bowling Green State University. Pitched 66 times for the Tampa Bay Rays last year. And he was traded for Raul Mondesi Jr. during the offseason. That's a shot to right center field. That'll go on through to the wall and make it 6-1. Carter into second with an RBI double. 7th double of the year for Carter. And he regains the club RBI lead, breaking the tie with Matt Dominguez, giving him 37. As Crowe, the pinch runner, scores from second.
Just hasn't happened very often that Chris Carter has gone this way with the baseball. He stings it going to right center field. And for most hitters, when they can do this, you say, well, this could be the sign of good things to come. For Chris Carter, if he could make this happen on occasions, I think he could become quite a run producer. That was very well done.
You're absolutely right. 7 doubles. A relatively low total for a slugger. He has 14 homers to lead the club, but yeah, that if he could pick up some doubles, reduce some of the strikeouts, that could be a quantum leap in hitting for Chris Carter. 6-1 Astros. Back in a moment.
Whether you're treating your employees, hosting clients, or bringing out your church or youth sports team, Astros Baseball can create an experience your group is sure to remember. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com to enjoy special pricing and great benefits by reserving your group or suite today. Carlos Pena up for the Astros after that 3-run home run earlier. And Carlos Pena, one of the veterans in the clubhouse, obviously, and it showed last night when he was speaking with Jimmy Paredes, who had just been optioned down to AAA Oklahoma City. Their lockers have been next to each other all year, and they've talked a lot. Jimmy Paredes, it's a lot in Spanish, and I couldn't really understand what they were saying, so I went up to him and asked Carlos what he said to Jimmy and their last talk before Jimmy was sent back down to Oklahoma City. And he said, you know, it's all about how you handle this. It's heartbreaking when you get sent down, and it's not about how you handle the success, but it's how you handle the failure. Just giving him some advice as he was sent down to AAA. Guys.
That's a little good insight, Julia. Thanks for that. And Carlos has been that kind of a senior figure in the clubhouse for a lot of these young Astros players. Good counselor for them, advisor. He's taken that role very seriously on this club, Ash. And the Astros were looking for a certain type of player as a free agent, and Carlos certainly hit the profile.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say that not every player around the major leagues who gets sent down has that player to turn to like Carlos Pena. He has been great in that regard, and not too bad when it comes to the long ball on occasions.
That home run was number 7 of the year for him. He's 1 for 3 in this game. Tom Gorzolani's in the game. And he gets strike 1 on the slider. He's pitcher number 4. Gorzolani, an experienced lefty reliever. Began his career in the Pirate organization. He's 30 years old. He became a Cub in a trade in 09. He's 1-0 with a 1.91 ERA as a Brewer this year.
9 years in the big leagues, 45 and 45. A couple of saves along the way.
He was with Washington last year. Pena takes a look at it, checks his swing on appeal to Tim Welke. 1-1. In fact, Bo Porter was a coach on that Washington club. Gorzolani, one of the veteran relievers. The Orioles called up lefty Zach Britton, and he rewarded them with a win over Justin Verlander tonight, 5-2 Baltimore. Jim Johnson got save number 26. Verlander goes to 8-5 with the loss. Strike makes it 1-2 to Carlos Pena. There were home runs hit, 2 of them off Verlander by J.J. Hardy and Adam Jones. Miguel Cabrera was 2 for 5. He's hitting .359. Miguel has a .450 on base percentage and .634 slugging percentage right now.
Insane?
It is insane. Oh, hit around the right shoulder by Gorzelani. And the 1-2 pitch. Pena will ahead for first base.
Just a breaking ball that gets away. And that was the last thing that Gorzelani wanted. I think Carlos Pena knows it, but at the same time, it hurts. That's in a tough area.
Maybe around the right rib cage area. No? Actually, the upper right arm.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell yourself all you want. He didn't do it intentionally, but there's that moment where you wonder, am I hurt in a serious way?
Justin Maxwell, he's 0 for 2 with a walk, has scored a run. Ball 1 to J-Max. Esco Rogers and the Blue Jays beat the Colorado Rockies 8-3. Jeff Francis the loser. Jays have won 7 in a row. They are really in flight right now, Ash. 2-0.
Yes, they are.
They're regaining some lost respect, it would appear, after spending all that money, making that huge deal with the Marlins.
You think if they got enough time to catch a good-looking Boston Red Sox club? Baltimore's been a good-looking team.
Yeah, they can do it. They're in last place, though.
You are a believer.
Absolutely. How can you not believe in the Blue Jays? 3-0. They were 8 behind Boston when the night started, and they were the only club in their division below 500. But now they're only 2 games below after a 7-game winning streak.
I think based on the injuries this year, the Yankees might be the biggest surprise in that division.
True. You know, when we were talking about surprises, there's a walk to J-Max on 4 pitches. And the bases are loaded now for Matt Dominguez. He's been enjoying his bases loaded at bats. Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach, during this homestand. Matt Dominguez has really cashed in on bases loaded situations. We were talking about surprise teams the other night. We really neglected to mention the San Diego Padres, didn't we?
They might be, or certainly as of that night, maybe tonight, as big a surprise as any club out there. When you mention the West in the National League, I think the Padres get overlooked year after year.
Yeah.
But I, for one, had no inkling that they were going to be that good this year, at least to this point.
We've got some company on that. Orioles 2.5 back. The Yankees 4. Rays 7. Jays 8.5.
Yes, they are in flight.
Watch out for those Jays. Keep your eye on those Jays. Matt Dominguez backs away from it. It's ball 1. Dominguez with a sac fly, a single, and a line out to center field. So 3 good trips to the batter's box tonight for Matt. It's Carter at third, Pena at second. Maxwell's the runner at first. Fly ball. Dominguez hits it out toward the seats and left. And Matt Dominguez has delivered a grand slam. First grand slam for the Astros in 2013. And Matt Dominguez reclaims the club RBI lead. He has a 5 RBI night. 40 runs batted in for the season. That's home run number 10.
And the first grand slam of his career, Brownie. Good stuff.
Yeah. 10-1 lead.
15th grand slam opportunity over the career for Matt Dominguez. And he comes through. Well, he got under this ball, too. A lot of carry on a high drive.
special moment for Matt Dominguez. His father was just here on Sunday for the Father's Day game. And Matt had a big day with his father in attendance with the 3-run double with the bases loaded. Now he goes one better. Donovan hand warming up in the bullpen as Dominguez has made it 10-1. Alan Gonzalez looks at ball one.
Well, this didn't have the feel of a laugher at all coming into this inning. But now you've got a pretty nice laugher on your hands.
Orsolani missing. Falls behind 2-0. First grand slam by an Astro since June 14th, 2012. 2 balls and a strike. Measured at 395 feet. He loves that target in left field at Minute Maid Park.
That was a huge smile for Matt Dominguez right there.
Yeah. He keeps it, as he mentioned to Julia when she was asking him about what his father taught him, on an even keel. And that's an animated version of Matt.
I can't believe what we're seeing.
In tight for ball 3, 3-2.
For Tom Gorzolani, this has been anything but sharp.
Bouncer back to him. Throws at Gonzalez. 2 outs.
What's it look like when you hit a major league grand slam? Something like that. I think he was already telling himself going down the line there, there's number 1 of my career. If he wasn't, he should have been.
That's his 8th home run at Minute Maid Park of the 10. And 27 runs batted in of his 40 have come in this ballpark. Foul back by Brandon Barnes. So a 3-run homer by Pena in the 5th, and now a grand slam by Dominguez in the 7th that allowed the Astros to pad their lead to 9. Barnes takes a look at it. It's called strike 2. The 5 RBI game by Matt Dominguez, the most by an Astro since Chris Johnson drove in 6 in a run in a game last May. 1-2 to Barnes. Two balls, 2 strikes. Brooke Badenhop in 1 1/3 innings allowed 1 hit, 2 runs, 1 earned with no walks, and struck out 2. Well, this Milwaukee bullpen, which had been so good, taking a beating tonight. Barnes strikes out. The Astros send 8 to the plate in the 7th inning, and Matt Dominguez unloads this grand slam for a 5 RBI night. 10-1 Houston.
The eighth inning, and now time for the pitch by pitch presented by Steel Dealers. It's all about Jordan Lyles, not with Matt Dominguez, but Jordan Lyles, 7th straight outstanding start. He's had that slider working. His curveball has been strong tonight. He spotted the fastball well. Not a whole lot of the changeups, but Jordan Lyles just continues to find a way time after time that he goes to the hill. And now 7 consecutive very good starts dating back but away is May 17th. And you can see the earned runs allowed in each one of those starts. Well, he just gives this club a chance to win every time he goes out there, Browning.
Well, he's really shown that kind of consistency this season. And he started to display that last year in September, that kind of consistency. But this spring, things went awry for him. Did not make the club. Had a high ERA in spring training. Went back to work on some things at AAA Oklahoma City, and now he is a very polished right-hander at age 22. Paul Clemens in the game. Trevor Crow in left field after pinch running for J.D. Martinez, and there's a foul ball to open the 8th inning by Gomez. Gomez is 2 for 3. There's Crow in left. J.D. was 1 for 3 tonight. And Clemens pitched in the 4-3 Astros win against the White Sox on Saturday. Francisco Rodriguez warming up for Milwaukee. It's a fly ball left field line going foul. Trevor Crow watches it back into the seats, and it's 0-2. So Jordan Lyles with no walks, 1-hit batsman, and 5 strikeouts in his 7 innings, allowing 7 hits and 1 run tonight, lowering that ERA, which was at 3.48 when the night began. He threw 100 pitches, 73 for strikes. His ERA stands at 3.22. Boy, that is a high percentage of strikes. 73%. That's a strikeout for Clemens.
That curveball reminiscent of last time out against Seattle. And, of course, no longer Jordan Lyles, but for Clemens, that curveball very much like Jordan was able to flip up there time and time again. And for Paul Clemens, he has been awfully good with that pitch over the course of the year.
Sure has. Now Clemens moves along to face Ramos Ramirez, who's 0 for 3. Ball 1 on the heater. Paul got his 6th hold of the year in that 4-3 win over the White Sox on Saturday night. Worked 2/3 of an inning, giving up 1 hit, no runs. This fly ball heads for right center field. Justin Maxwell over for it. 2 outs. Jonathan Lucroy is due up next. Lucroy's 0 for 3. Astros with a win tonight over Milwaukee would be 63-39 here at Minute Maid Park against the Brewers. In interleague play earlier this year, they won 3 of 4 from Colorado, lost 2 of 3 to Pittsburgh. That's strike 1 to Lucroy, so overall they're 4-3 against the National League. Houston bullpen has really collaborated on some fine, well-pitched games here on this homestand. In for a strike for Clemens. That makes it 0-2. That bullpen ERA has been coming down. Even in the 4-2 loss last night, Josh Field worked a couple of scoreless frames. Wade LeBlanc had a 1-2-3 inning, giving the other guys a breather. Curveball makes it 1-2. In a 10-1 ball game like this, it would appear that Jose Veras is going to get a second straight day of rest after he had saved 3 in as many days.
You always wonder what you're looking at when a team starts winning some ball games, as the Astros have been of late. Are you seeing a team play some clubs that may not be playing very well, or are you seeing a team turn it around? And I think a lot will be answered here in the near future as we talk again about the Astros playing the Cardinals and Tampa Bay and Texas, and again the Cards and Tampa Bay. A lot of good baseball coming up.
But if they keep getting this kind of starting pitching, a chance of beating even some of the good clubs.
They really do. 2-2.
There was a time just a few weeks ago that the Astros were on a pace of winning about 40 games on the year. But they've turned that around very briskly here.
Yeah, they were 10-30. Now they're 26-45.
With a win tonight, they go above a 60-win pace this year.
Okay. Pop up, Carlos Pena. Foul ball for out number 3. We move to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 10-1 Houston. Segura and the Milwaukee Brewers in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Astros pregame live starts at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. That's Wednesday night.
And let's take a look at, Brownie, all over your toes, at tomorrow's pitching matchup. Brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car. For the Astros, left-hander Eric Bedard tries to get it straightened out after getting touched up a little bit last time out. He'll go against Kyle Loesch, veteran for these Milwaukee Brewers. Loesch 2-6 on the start of his season despite a pretty good ERA. Says a lot about the offense of the Brewers. And for Eric Bedard, 2-3 on the year, .482 the earning. 1-0 right here at home.
We've seen Loesch, as you saw that 10-8 career record against Houston, pitched some fine games against the Astros. K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez, comes in. He's 1-0 with a 0.79 ERA, with 3 walks and 10 strikeouts in 11 1/3 innings.
114 opponent's batting average against? Wow.
Well, he's probably throwing that devastating changeup of his. Jose Altuve leads it off. Strike 1. Tom Gorzelani at 2/3 of an inning allowed 1 hit, 3 runs, walking 1, hitting a batter, and fanning 1. Of the 5 runs allowed by Alfredo Figueroa, 4 were earned. 1 unearned run allowed by Badenhoff. In the air toward right center field, Jeanette out, and that will be a sliding attempt by Aoki, and he came up with it. Tremendous catch by Nori Aoki in right.
That looked like that was going to be one of those little tweener jobs that drops, and a fine play by Aoki to get it done. Take a peek and see what we can see. Coming on hard, slides into it, backhanded effort, and yes, he does get that glove under the ball.
Well, that's tough on the backhand side. One out, and now it's Castro batting. Jason 1 for 4 on his 26th birthday. This one a high drive right center field. A long run for Gomez again, and he gets there and makes this one in a routine fashion, unlike the one in the 7th inning on Jason. Stay tuned for Postgame Live presented by MD Anderson, making cancer history.
Jason Castro will have to settle for a nice victory tonight and 1 base hit, scoring a run on his birthday, despite the fact that he hit a couple of balls very well on top of that.
He really did. Trevor Crowe will bat for the first time. He came in and pinch ran for J.D. Martinez and came around to score on the double by Chris Carter. Trevor's been getting some regular playing time in right field. 182, 1 homer, 4 runs batted in. And puts a line drive out into left field. Coming over for it is Schaefer. 2-out single by Crowe.
Boy, was that nice. Just reaching down and away and drilling it into left field. That piece of hitting.
Yeah.
Keeping the head down through the baseball.
Hit number 8 for the Astros.
Take 8 hits for 10 runs anytime?
Oh, yeah. 7 of those runs on the 2 homers. Chris Carter has a couple of knocks tonight. Single and a double. Strike 1 to Carter. Final score from Texas: Oakland 6, Texas 2. Jared Parker goes to 6-6. Yu Darvish, the loser, 7-3. So the A's will put a little more distance between themselves and the Rangers. 1 ball, 1 strike. Oakland came in with a 2-game lead over Texas. Final from Philadelphia, 4-2. The Phillies beat the Nationals. Cliff Lee, the winner, goes to 9-2. 1-2 beats Ross Detweiler. Jonathan Papelbon getting save number 14.
You know, you mentioned the A's, and I keep asking myself, can they keep that up? And they're doing what they've done this year without a whole lot from Cespedes, and certainly not much at all from Reddick.
True. Yeah, Moss has done some good things for them. Strike. Carter caught looking to end the 8th. No runs, a hit, and a man left. We move to the 9th. It's 10-1 Houston. And is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Paul Clemens out for the 9th inning. Meanwhile, we've been taking a look at a Twitter pic of the Matt Dominguez Grand Slam baseball retrieved by authenticator Mike Acosta here at Minute Maid Park. That'll be a nice souvenir for Matt. Logan Schaefer is 0 for 3. Paul Clemens had a 1-2-3 eighth inning in relief of Jordan Lyles. Fly ball right center field. Maxwell over. One down for Clemens. Betancourt next. He's 1 for 3. But maybe a pinch hitter instead. It's going to be Caleb Gindel pinch hitting for Betancourt. Meanwhile, the guys with the post-game live show are furiously getting ready, editing their highlights, going over all their ad-libs. They'll be with you very shortly. Here's strike one on Gindel. Altuve fans.
I don't think they need to go over their ad-libs. I think they just let it flow.
That's right. That's what they do. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Gindel.
What I've been hearing from EY, I'm not sure you could prepare for that stuff.
No, you can't prepare for that. He does let it fly. Foul ball comes back, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count to Gindel. Caleb, 23 years old, from Pensacola, Florida. And Ryan Braun is out with that thumb injury, so Gindel gets his opportunity to be a big leaguer for the first time this year. It's a miss for Paul Clemens, and it's a 2-2 count for Gindel, who made that major league debut on Saturday. And Braun, from what we've heard, has been playing in pain for quite some time with that thumb. And a strikeout on the curveball, number 2 for Paul Clemens. So while Braun has a good batting average, he's suffered a little power shortage because of that thumb ligament problem, from what we're hearing anyway. Hit some home runs early this year, but the power has dropped off quite a bit. Now Juan Francisco, he is 2 for 3. Off the mitt of Pena and on through into right field. That ball was scalded by Francisco, and he'll get his 3rd hit of the night. That one too hot to handle for Carlos Pena. Clemens gives up his first hit after retiring 5 in a row. Scooter Gennett will face him. Gennett is 1 for 3. Zach Wheeler won his first career start for the Mets in that doubleheader. Now the Mets now with Matt Harvey and Zach Wheeler might have the makings of something Mets fans are going to be watching for years to come in their rotation. And the Astros can say the same thing when they get their top draft pick signed. Mark Appel. Fly ball left field line. Trevor Crowe moves over for it to his right. And in the 9th inning, it goes 1-2, and then a single, and then 3 for Paul Clemens. 2 scoreless innings for him. The Astros win it 10-1, and they are now 4-1 on this homestand. Big night for Matt Dominguez. There's the final. Back in a moment.